there's no guarantee that this strategy was the right one. Go win the game with your bullpen. They've done it more often than not.
Robert Suarez as the Padres lead 2-1. Last chance to dance for the Marlins.
It's the strength of their team, so why would you run away or go away from the strength of your team?
On the ground towards shortstop. Bogaerts will flip to second base. That's the ball game. Padres win.
We know this bullpen's going to be the most used bullpen in the sport.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's all said and done.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim, leading up to Game 2 of the Padres-Marlins series in South Florida. Craig Mish, who covers the Marlins as well as anyone in the history of covering the Marlins does, will join us at 2:30. I don't know if anyone else has covered the Marlins for their career.
He's the only
Craig
person.
Mish has. He will have updates on Miami and their potential players out the door at the deadline. Could that involve San Diego? He'll join us at 2:30. I was at San Diego State basketball practice this afternoon. I didn't see Jim, but Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball, join us coming up at 3:30. I must have missed you. Maybe were you over on that side? Because I was on the other side.
Where's the invite? Where's the email? Where's the text messages?
You got it. Okay. You have a phone.
Yeah, I got a phone. What am I doing?
You know Jamie over at San Diego State. You know Richard. You know Dutch. You know Velasquez, right? You know Matt Soria. You know these people. You know.
Do you want me to use my
Miles
mind
Bird.
reading powers and go, all right, they might have a practice today. Let me text Jamie and see if I can come.
I told Richard, I said, we need to get Jim out here. He's like, why? Well, yeah, it's a fair point. We can put it that way. I'm like, but you know,
right, let me ask you this. How did you know that they were having practice today?
Okay, here's how I knew. I have something between my ears called a brain.
Now, that's correct. But is it posted anywhere publicly that they had a practice today?
It's kind of like, how did I know Jon and Jim had a show?
They practice every single day for the entire year?
From July 4th on.
Okay.
They practice 4 times a week.
And where's that posted?
In my brain.
Okay, so that's not public knowledge.
But you've seen some of the content, maybe.
I have.
Mesa, San Diego State men's basketball.
After the fact, so I'm not like, oh, man.
Well, if you want to come out,
I need to know time. I need to know date.
4 times a week, mid-morning.
Mid-morning.
Yeah.
It's not a time.
It's the middle of the morning. Talk to me. If you want to go out.
I didn't even know it was possible.
It's definitely possible. I go like 60 times.
Well, I know it's possible, but I didn't know that it was happening right now.
Oh, it's happening. You're missing some good things, and that's why we're going to bring Dave Velasquez on. For Aztec fans, this team is stacked. I mean, they're loaded. They're big. They're experienced. We'll talk to Dave Velasquez about them at 3:30. Then John Wilner Hotline. He's had Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas.
In your brain.
How did I know? I just know. I mean, it's kind of like saying, like, how do I know the Aztecs football team is practicing? Because that's what they do before the season.
Right, but
it's July. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but also it's like, yes, I know they're going to practice. I'm not an idiot.
Right, like they have to practice before they play.
But is there a press release? Is there an email from somebody telling me what time the practice is?
It's all closed unless you know people, which we have the flagship rights to San Diego State for 8 years. So I would
need like a text message from you being like, hey, you want to go to practice tomorrow morning?
Let me explain it like this. We've had Aztec rights for 8 years. If you want to do something with San Diego State, just ask.
Okay, I know that, but I didn't know they had practice yesterday or this morning.
No, today and tomorrow. We'll see you there tomorrow.
I'm busy tomorrow.
Here we go. Let's start with the Padres, who, I don't know if it's deja vu all over again, Yogi Berra, but they have gotten off to a good start in the second half. They're opening a cushion here on a wild card spot. They're 3.5 games up on a playoff spot. They're only 3.5 games behind the Dodgers as they were yesterday as well. And now Jon Heyman continues to double down on the Padres at the deadline. We had Kevin Acee yesterday talking about big splashes and the possibility of Jake Cronenworth maybe being on the move. Dennis Lin today writing there is renewed interest in Jake Cronenworth with the deadline just 9 days away. So there is a lot to react to. I think first and foremost, it's about the deadline. The team's playing well, which makes the priority the deadline. So let's hear. We have the Jon Heyman sound, Brent. Let's hear from Jon Heyman, who tweeted yesterday about the aggressive nature of A.J. Preller. He doubled down on MLB Network earlier today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're absolutely looking to buy. They're an aggressive team. They're playing well. Obviously, they've had some injuries, too, but they've played through them. They've done a nice job piecing together that rotation. One interesting thing about the Padres, 3 all-star relievers, Morhone, Adam and Suarez, yet they are looking for bullpen help, and they should be able to find it on this market. There are a lot of very good relievers out there. That is one of their priorities, believe it or not. I think they'll look at starting pitching. I think they'll look at catcher, though there aren't a ton of great catchers out there. And right now, Maldonado's doing a very nice job with that pitching staff. They are looking for a bat, so I think they are going to look at left field. Certainly, they've been on Jarren Duran at least since May, probably for more than a year. They love the guy, but at this point, I would say that's probably a long shot. We know Boston has a glut in the outfield, but I think they probably hold a Duran. If he is traded, it'll be a surprise if it's anybody but the Padres.
You ready for the question I've asked you for the last, how long has Luis Robert been in the league? 6 years? Yeah. Will he move? Give me a percent that he's moved. 2025 deadline.
I think it's like we're up to 80% at this point.
Okay.
Teams are interested. The worm has turned. I mean, he's over 200 at 206 now. He is hitting 364 in July. He does hit lefties. He's still a good defender. I think the team that we mentioned earlier, the Padres, could be a potential fit because they clearly have been looking at left field. They're not moving Jackson Merrill out of center field. Robert is a center fielder. That would plug a hole that they do have. Obviously, Sheets has done great in terms of his hitting, but I think they think of him as a little bit more of a DH if they can do it. So the Padres are the latest team I've heard with Robert potentially, but 8 teams have checked in on Robert Jr., and I think they're going to have to pay it down a little bit. But teams know that they're not going to pick up that $20 million option for next, no matter how hot he gets. I don't believe they're going to pick up that $20 million option. So, I mean, they're doing well now. They've improved. They've done a nice job. But I think it's time that Luis Robert Jr. does get traded before we talk about it anymore.
I mean this in the nicest way possible. AJ Preller is an absolute psychopath. He is in on everybody.
Yeah, I like it that way.
I do too. Give me more. Give me more rumors. Give me more trade possibilities. Give me it all. It's weird hearing Jon Heyman go, look, the way the Red Sox are playing right now, I don't see Duran being traded. But if you were to be traded, I don't envision him being traded anywhere other than to San Diego.
Like the only option.
Right. The only place that he would go would be the Padres.
The interesting thing I thought he said in there on Luis Robert, because we had read earlier, maybe from Ken Rosenthal a week ago, that it appeared as if the White Sox were willing to like pay down all of Robert. And he's like, well, Robert's playing better, so you might get some pay down for 2025, but he's owed $20 million next year and $20 million the year after if the team picks up his option.
You would need to add another prospect or some better prospects. Yeah.
But that's where Jake Cronenworth also comes in, because Cronenworth makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and that's where, and maybe you missed Kevin with us yesterday. He's been with us both Friday and Monday, and both times Jake Cronenworth's name came up. Not as if there's a definite or a guarantee, but it's intriguing because he's drawing interest. Kevin said this Friday. Dennis Lin doubled down on this today in The Athletic, saying teams are calling on Jake Cronenworth. And you may say Jake Cronenworth's a very good player or having a good year, and I would agree with that. But in order to maybe add the payroll of a Luis Robert Jr., Duran next year is arbitration eligible. He's going to make a lot more than $3.85 million. In order to add salary, we went through this exercise last night on the wrap-up show. You're going to have to subtract salary. Like, there's going to be a point where the Padres can't just add and add and add. They've passed the second CBT threshold. Are they going to pass the third? At some point, they're going to need to look at their checkbook and see if the check's going to bounce or not. And that's where a player like Jake Cronenworth, who makes money, might come into the equation.
Their luxury tax number right now is a little over 262. The second tax threshold is 261. So they're just like a little over, and every dollar over these tax thresholds in the CBT, you get taxed on it, right? So if you are $290 million luxury tax payroll, you're in like the third tier of being taxed. The next tier after 261 is 281, right? So they're about $19 million until the third luxury tax threshold. They're not getting close to that. They want to stay around the 262, 261 mark. That's what it feels like what they're going to do. Because if they didn't care, and if they were like, oh, screw it, we'll just add a bunch of money, then they would have gone the offseason. They would have added a competent catcher, and they would have added a competent left fielder, and they would have added more pieces to the team, and they wouldn't have tried, or not tried, but they did. They wouldn't have got Nick Pivetta to have a base salary of $2.5 million this year. They wouldn't have got Michael King to have a base salary of $1 million this year. Like,
if money's not an option, then why does it appear as if money has been such a big part of the conversation over the course of the offseason? I mean, even look at the Jackson Merrill deal. It's regarded as a team discount where the union even fought the deal. The Major League Baseball Players Union is like, this isn't good for the union. So if you think dollars and cents aren't part of the equation, I don't think you're thinking logically. Now, to the credit of John Seiler and the Padres, the fact that they're over the second CBT threshold,
it's a credit,
is incredible. I mean, the Dodgers are getting $275 million a year in TV revenue. The Padres are getting the postgame show presented by Major League Baseball. Like, you can't compare the Dodgers, right? How the show is presented by the show. Hey, it's the Padres postgame show presented by Major League Baseball. They're not cutting them a check. It's not presented by MasterCard.
You don't think
so? Right.
I'm not even going to say what I was going to say.
It is. I hate to be, caller Dave, who's like, they don't have their TV revenue. They don't have their TV revenue.
Speaking of, no, I was kidding.
They don't have their TV revenue. So it's a credit that they're spending $262 million.
What they're doing is they're taking the money that they're getting at the gate, there's merchandise and sales and everything, ticket sales and all that stuff, and they're putting it right back into the team.
They have to be. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other way to do it.
And that is what you'd want as a fan. The money that the team makes, you want them to put that back in the team.
It has to all be going in. I kid you not. How could they be making more than that? That's a lot of money in a year, $262 million.
Yeah, I don't think that Motorola patch is.
I think that someone said that's like in the $5 million range, but I add it all up. How much more than $262 million could you possibly be making?
Nah.
They have expenses. They have employees.
I know. You can't just not pay people to work.
So that's where I do give the Padres credit. I don't think everything's going in their back pocket. I really don't. But I also think there comes a point where it's like, we don't have any more money.
And this is why, and you'll hear Kevin Acee on the other side with us yesterday talking about this exact scenario,
right?
Where he mentions, I wouldn't be completely shocked if a big shakeup is coming because of what we just mentioned. They need to take the money they have and reallocate it here and then move it around here so they make everything fit inside this puzzle. And one of the players that a lot of teams are calling on, according to reports, who's making a good amount of money, who would fit the criteria of a player that they can move to move out money to bring money back in, would be Jake Cronenworth. And I know a lot of fans would not like that at all. That would not be received well. The only way it would be received well is if the team on the other side would win.
Completely.
Because if they would win, there's no complaining. But if they don't, then it's complaining. Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Kevin Acee with us yesterday on the other side. And then coming up at 2:30, Craig Mish, Sports Grid, covers the Marlins. He will join us at 2:30. What are they going to do at the deadline? They're selling, but what players are most likely to be moved by the Marlins over the course of the next week? Don't go anywhere. Jon and Jim. By the way, we have SDFC tickets to give away. We'll tell you how to win those coming up as well. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we do have SDFC tickets to once again give away a pair of tickets. SDFC Nashville SC Friday night, right here on San Diego Sports 760 and at Snapdragon. In order to win those tickets, you're going to hear a goal call from their play-by-play voice. Then you'll have 5 minutes to open the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, click on the red talkback mic. Tell us your favorite SDFC player. Can be anyone. Any SDFC player. Once you've done that, within 5 minutes of hearing the goal call, you're eligible to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Nashville Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Craig Mish is going to join us in 10 minutes. He covers the Marlins in South Florida, so he'll join us in 10 minutes. Kevin Acee yesterday was with us. Let's hear what he had to say about the Padres at the deadline. This includes Jake Cronenworth, and react.
It's a wide net. I mean, you have to do that. In some ways, they always do that, right? And then they find a way to fit someone, but like I was increasingly understanding that there might be something that kind of blows our mind in terms of they could move somebody on their roster that is owed a fair amount of money in order to fit in what they need to do at this trade deadline. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Now that I say it out loud, it could be a lot of people, but the obvious ones, right, are on the right side of the infield where, people are interested in Jake Cronenworth. They have never stopped being interested in Jake Cronenworth. I don't know. Does he have a 760? Does he have a 730 OPS? Whatever it is, that's a lot more valuable when you put in the number 12.85, which is what he will make each of the next 5 years. And that's going to be a bargain if he can be this kind of player. And teams are interested, man. And then could they somehow package Luis Arias? I don't know about that, but if they took on someone else's salary, I guess to a certain extent. But they've got to do something because they're going to rely, my understanding is, on AJ Preller getting something done in an AJ Preller kind of way. It's not that they're going to be committing another, $10 million to this roster between now and the end of the season.
So I think we can all see here where this could be potentially going, with Kevin telling us that multiple times last week and yesterday. This morning, Dennis putting on in his article kind of the same sentiment that the Padres potentially might move off of a guy like Jake Cronenworth because he has the most value at major league level that also has the most money attached that they could possibly trade to free up some room to bring back some pieces that would fill out the other holes on your roster that you need. The thing there that Kevin says is we are increasingly potentially getting closer to a maybe big shakeup here with this Padres team. And I don't know how that would go over with everybody.
Well, what would you, I guess, let me ask you like this, 877-767-4760, or you can text us 70470, start it with team. Would you prefer they just go along the way they've been going along, which right now is positioning themselves for the postseason with an outside chance of maybe winning the division? Would you prefer a minimal shakeup because they have the pieces in place to get to the postseason and potentially win? Or would you roll your dice on a higher ceiling, but maybe it lowers your floor? I mean, when you start making changes where you're impacting 6, 7, 8 players on your roster, you have no idea what the other side of that is going to look like. So I think it's safer, maybe the status quo, but I don't think AJ Preller's ever been kind of the safe kind of GM. He's always thinking about tinkering and potentially putting his team in a position where they can win at a higher level. I think you could make an argument both ways. I think if they had a minimal shakeup, I could certainly sell you on it. And I think if they did something a little more outside the box and moved Jake Cronenworth or moved Luis Arias and brought in Luis Robert Jr. or Jarren Duran or a catcher or a starting pitcher and so on and so forth, I can sell you down that path as well. I think they might be in decent shape either way at 55-45 and 3.5 games up in a playoff spot.
We discussed this last night. Is the team as it's constructed right now good enough to make the postseason?
It appears to be.
I think the answer is yes. They're 3.5 games up on the final wild card spot. They're playing much better baseball. They're 10 games over 500 with this team, with Trenton Brooks and Bryce Johnson and Maldonado and Diaz and Tyler Wade being completely MIA. Like, they are 10 games over 500 with still all the holes that they have on this team on the bench, at catcher, DH, a right-handed bat, back into the rotation. Like, they're a playoff team. I think this team, if they just went status quo the rest of the year, and how their schedule lightens up in September, and how They're really good against bad teams. They play a lot of bad teams in September. I think they could make the playoffs without any moves being made.
Right.
But that's not the goal. The goal is not just to make the postseason. It's about putting together a team that could not only make the postseason, but make a run in the postseason to an eventual World Series. Is this team as it's constructed right now? Do you envision this team making a run without making any moves to a World Series?
I mean, they got a lot of holes. I agree with the overall sentiment that it seems more likely the path to a World Series is addressing some of your needs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would agree with that. I don't think I don't know what chances it gives you that are better than your current chances by doing the full mix up. Like, I think if you make moves at the deadline, are you now a better team than the LA Dodgers in a 5 or 7 game series? Are you a favorite? But maybe you're more likely than you are currently to win that series. I get your point's valid. I mean, I think they have holes, and it's unlikely they win 3 postseason series as currently constructed in the National League. Not impossible. It's just unlikely. Can they improve their chances by making moves at the deadline? Probably. But to what extent? And what's the cost of making those moves?
Yeah, because last year at this time, when they traded for Tanner Scott, and Jason Adam, and Hoeing, and Martin Perez, did we think at that time this team's going to be a World Series favorite here?
No, not really.
We thought, oh, this team's better. They upgraded in areas that needed upgrading, bullpen, starting pitching, and all the moves that AJ made last year worked. Every single one.
Yep.
And by the time we got to September, late September and October, we get into that Dodgers series. I mean, they're the favorites to win the World Series.
Yeah, they were.
So, whatever moves they make at the deadline, we won't know how they truly pan out until they pan out, until we get to September and October. Like, this team as is constructed right now, if they didn't make any moves, maybe they do get super hot. And by the end of September and we go to October, maybe they're one of the favorites to win the World Series. But we just don't know that. It's always like, all right, we need to make some moves to upgrade this team, and we'll see how they work out.
No matter what, I know this. If they're in the postseason and the Dodgers are in the postseason, the Dodgers will be favored over the Padres in that scenario, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. Just use 2022 as an example. We'll have to get to Patrick on the other side of our conversation with Craig Mish. Patrick, you can stay on the line, or you can give us a call back in about 15 minutes. But Craig Mish covers the Marlins. A number of Marlins could be on the move, including their starting pitcher tonight, who's had a terrific year, the 27-year-old Edward Cabrera. We'll catch up with Craig Mish on the other side. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Lexus Carlsbad. Experience auto enjoyment. Padres took game 1 from the Marlins yesterday, 2-1. Next game later this afternoon, game 2 of their 3-game series, 3:40. First pitch, where Stephen Kolek will be on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day: the Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin is a no-show at camp. He's holding out for a new contract. Right now at Lexus Carlsbad during the Golden Opportunity Sales Event, save with lease specials on new Lexus ESs and TX models. Not all buyers qualify. Limited terms on approved credit only. Offer ends soon. Details at LexusCarlsbad.com or visit Lexus Carlsbad today.
All right, Craig Mish back with us on Jon and Jim. He's done a great job over the years covering the Marlins with Sports Grid as well, and back with us right now on Jon and Jim. So it feels like this happens often. I mean, the Marlins were in the postseason a couple of years ago, but oftentimes they are sellers. So let's start there, Craig. When you look at this Marlins roster, who are some of the names or who are the most likely candidates right now that are potentially moved between now and the trade deadline? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, sure, guys. Thanks for having me. It's actually been a little bit more of an interesting year than I think that any of us could have anticipated, because the team, while, realistically speaking, if you look at some of, fan graphs and some of the other metrics, they grade very low as far as potentially making the playoffs. In fact, to the point where I think you got to be realistic with their chances. But that being said, they've been very competitive, even in the games they're losing, like you saw last night, very competitive. So I wouldn't say that that's completely changed their thought process here with the deadline next week. But I do think that maybe some players who have control for several years may not just be traded to sort of what we call kick the can in baseball down, 4-6 years down the line. So, to answer your question directly, I think there's a chance one of their starting pitchers are moved. I don't know if it's going to be Sandy Alcantara or Edward Cabrera. I think 50-50 on both of those. They also have an expiring contract on a pitcher, Cal Quantrill, who you guys are obviously familiar with. Not really sure what the return would be for a guy like that, but I do think that he is on the trade block as well. And then they have an outfielder, Jesus Sanchez, who is really strong against right-handed pitching, but he would be, I believe, more of a platoon player with any postseason contender. And then maybe some surprises along the way, guys. We'll see.
Kyle Stowers, hometown kid here from El Cajon here in San Diego. He's having a fantastic year for the Marlins. All-star, home run yesterday. I know they've come out and said that he is not going to be traded. But, looking down the line here, do you expect him to get maybe a long-term contract there, or maybe in the future, if something doesn't turn around in the organization, could Kyle Stowers be moved eventually for the Marlins?
Well, it was me who reported that he won't be traded, so it depends on if you trust me or not.
I trust you. I trust you.
If you don't trust me, maybe he's traded next Friday or Thursday. So, look, I think that I think maybe he could have been moved, guys. I think if he was just having a standard year, maybe playing a little bit above his skis, I think anything is in play for a team that isn't potentially contending. But he has played so far above what I believe even their expectations were that I think that you have to take a second look at him and say, hey, is this maybe a player that we can build around? As far as a cornerstone piece, I'm not sure, because look, it's been 5 months or 4 months and we haven't seen this at basically any level. There's no question, though, at this point, he will be with the team through the All-Star break. My guess is, of course, he'll be with the team next year as well, and they'll try and fill in pieces in between. But very rare, guys, for the Marlins to have an offensive weapon that every night has the potential to hit 400 feet. It's basically been since that Stanton, Ozuna, Yelich days that you thought that every night you can get a guy to hit a home run.
Impressive last night. Nearly took 2 balls out last night. Did homer, the only run for the Marlins in that Padres 2-1 win. Craig Mish with us. He covers the Marlins in South Florida. What is the ask here on Sandy Alcantara, who's got the Cy Young, but coming off Tommy John? Obviously, the year speaks for itself just in terms of sheer numbers. I know he's under control as well next year. So what are they going to be able to get if he does, in fact, move?
That's impossible for me to answer because I don't know the landscape as to what you would be looking at for a pitcher that you may not have confidence can turn it around this year. It would honestly, guys, I think it would be with a team that may win this year or may not, but potentially seizing the opportunity that they see something that could harness what he's done in the past. Because Look, I've known Sandy longer than maybe just about anybody in the media. I'm going on, 9 years with him with the Cardinals. This is the first time ever that I've seen him pitch that I just can't seem to figure out what's going on. And so I'm not even sure that he knows. So I've seen this in the past with players where change of scenery, new eyes, new ears, new voice, and, new metrics can sort of fix somebody. I have all the confidence that this guy is going to get back to who he was. But guys, how can I tell you that if any team was to make a trade for him right now, that he immediately would go back to being the guy he was? That's the risk that you're taking. So to me, it's more of a future deal than it is a present.
Yeah, just to Cy Young a couple years ago, and this year, his numbers, they're not good. When you watch him, what are things that he's doing that you talked about? Like, you'd never seen him pitch like this before in your life. Like, what are some things that you're seeing from him that are just uncharacteristic of a Sandy Alcantara?
Without a doubt, less confidence. Without a doubt, less confidence. I still do think he's attacking the zone, but I don't think that he has the same confidence in some of his pitches. I've seen him change his arsenal now a couple different times, using some pitches more than others. After the first few starts of the season, they went away from him using the pitch comm. Then there was something, guys, where something I had heard is that it was the pitch clock, where he was releasing the ball too quickly on the pitch clock, releasing it at 16, 17, as opposed to, taking that deep breath in and releasing it at 3 or 4. Honestly, I haven't seen anything that's been definitive. And given the fact that the best coaching that I have in pitching is watching my son and telling him what to do at age 12, or 13 now, I can't really tell you what the deal is. It's going to have to come from somebody smarter than me.
Craig Mish with us right now. He covers the Marlins Padres. Marlins game 2 coming up in about an hour or so. It'll be Edward Cabrera, who seemingly, just looking at some of the numbers, Craig, and you know better than I do, but it looks like he's just kind of put it all together now. In his age 27 season, has put together a productive year. I know he's controllable as well, arbitration eligible guy, but controllable for multiple years. Maybe among all the players we've discussed, he could have the highest return for the Marlins, right? Based on the way he's pitching.
Yeah, I think so. It would have to be a team that believes in him. The one thing that I've learned, guys, in covering the game that I find the most fascinating in speaking to other organizations and GMs and scouts is they all know the players. You would think, that's like funny, but no, they really do. The advanced scouting in Major League Baseball, I think, is better than in any sport, NBA, NFL, NHL. And so they all know, guys, the player that Cabrera was before this year. So again, you're taking a little bit of a risk. Is this the guy, or is it potentially the guy that we've seen in the past? Now, I would tell you that he doesn't look like the guy that we've seen in the past. This does look like he has put it all together. The other thing that would be a little bit of a cautionary deal here is he did leave a start last week with a little bit of forearm issue. He'll start tonight against the Padres. So if he's able to get through this start and he looks like the good Cabrera that we've seen this season, you're probably right. I would put the probability as the highest of him being dealt and the Marlins cash in now.
What's your take on the Padres from afar? I know you don't watch them every day, but as we get closer to the deadline, we all know AJ Preller is a psychopath when it comes to trade deadline acquisitions. But what's your take on them overall this year?
My take on them is, kind of the same as the Dodgers and some of these teams that have reinvented how to win games. You saw it last night, and I think you're going to continue to see it. Finding these guys who are all throwing different looks at you out of the bullpen, going out and getting bullpen pieces to throw the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. One guy throws 100. One guy's Jason Adam. I think you're going to see the Dodgers attack that at the trade deadline. Guys, you're giving up too much for start pitching in this league, whether it's prospects or it's money. And I think that both general managers and owners are tired of doing it. They're tired of giving pitchers crazy money to pitch in the big leagues when they end up getting hurt in game 3 or game 5 of the season. But these bullpen arms are cheap and they do the job quick. And by the way, I hate to say it, if they don't, they just find somebody else. So that to me is what I see with the Padres. Keep the game close, turn it over to these guys that can do a lot of different things for you and get it to the 9th with Suarez. And I think that, the Padres will be successful with that. The Giants, guys, they went the opposite route on it. And initially that looked really good. And now look at them now. It's falling apart. So, look, I think San Diego will be there in the end. The other team that I do like a lot, even though I think they may end up being sellers, they have to decide, would be the Diamondbacks. To me, I like the Diamondbacks more than I like the Giants. So I do wonder, if they get on a little run here with a week before what they decide to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with a player like Eugenio Suarez, who's just on a complete tear right now in Arizona. Craig, always appreciate your insight. Really great for our listeners here in San Diego as the Padres get ready for the Marlins tonight. And of course, Padres fans preparing for the upcoming trade deadline as well. But we appreciate you taking time, and we'll do it again soon. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Craig Mish, Sports Grid, covers the Marlins in South Florida. We're going to react to that on the other side. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State longtime men's basketball assistant, now under Brian Dutcher. He will join us coming up at 3:30. John Wilner, the Wilner Hotline, San Jose Mercury News will join us coming up at 5:30 as well. We have SDFC tickets to give away today as well. Just getting started, getting you ready for Padres and Marlins. This is Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Tomorrow at 6 on San Diego Sports 760, SDFC Midweek Live. Darren Smith, Adrian Garcia Marquez in studio. You'll hear from Mikey Varas, head coach of SDFC. You'll find out the latest on the club. SDFC Midweek Live every Wednesday at 6. On your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Remember, we're giving away.
Speaking of.
Wow. On cue.
All right, John, tell them what to do.
Here's what I want our listeners to do right now, because this is, let's say you're looking for something to do this weekend, Friday night in San Diego, and you're a sports fan, because you're listening. Open the iHeart app right now. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Click on the little microphone. Leave us a talkback and tell us your favorite SDFC player. Maybe you've never seen SDFC. Look online. Find a player. Tell us your favorite SDFC player. If you do that within the next 5 minutes, you got about 4 minutes and 40 seconds, in fact, you'll be eligible to win a pair of tickets. We're announcing the winner of those tickets at 5:30. All you have to do is leave a talkback. Say Chucky Lozano. Say Andre Stryer. Whomever you want to say, leave
Milan Olowski, even though he's not with the team anymore.
Just an SDFC player, and you're eligible to win 2 tickets for Friday night.
Yeah, do that right now. You got less than 5 minutes to do that, and then you're eligible to win. By the way, if you win these tickets, we are going to have a San Diego Sports 760 tent set up there Friday night before the game. And if you go to our San Diego Sports 760 tent, you can enter to win a signed SDFC jersey at our booth. There'll be QR codes. There'll be everything that you need to know to figure out how to win this jersey. But if you're going to the game on Friday night, and you also want to enter to win a signed SDFC jersey.
Yeah, it's incredible. Authentic team signed jersey, first place in the Western Conference, first ever team in the franchise's history. Chucky Lozano, international star.
Yeah, there'll be cutouts to take pictures with. There'll be prizes to give away. And then, of course, the grand prize to enter to win is that signed SDFC jersey. Find the San Diego Sports 760 tent at the block party and go and enter to win.
What do we always say? You'll thank us later, or whatever.
You'll thank us.
Wrap-up show.
That's what I say.
You always say that.
Oh, you'll thank us later.
3 minutes right now. Open the app, search for 760, click on the talkback mic, tell us your favorite SDFC player. You're automatically eligible to win 2 free tickets for Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll announce the winner coming up at 5:30. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball at 3:30. John Wilner live from Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. That's all you need to know about the state of college athletics. He will join us coming up at 5:30. I found that pretty interesting from Craig Mish. I mean, Sandy Alcantara is the big name, Jim. If you look at any of these trade deadline lists, he's a top 5 player on these lists, but he's had like a bottom 5 year. He's got a 7.14 ERA. He's scheduled to pitch tomorrow for the Marlins against the Padres. He's won a Cy Young.
Is he auditioning tomorrow?
I mean, the Marlins probably wish he looked like Sandy Alcantara. Because if he doesn't, what are you getting back for him? Are you really trading a pitcher with an 8 ERA and getting a sizable return?
If Jim Bowden was the GM of the Padres, he would have traded Leo DeVries and Ethan Salas already.
Would you have any interest in this player who won a Cy Young, who can only go up from here? Would you buy low? He's under control for 2026. Project for 2025. Know you got rotation changes coming with Cease and King, and buy low on this player.
Yes.
But you wouldn't buy high.
No.
Because Bowden wants you to sell, everyone.
The farm. He wants to sell the farm. Trade the farm. Trade them all.
Right.
If you
sell low.
Yeah, if you could buy him for pennies on the dollar, I would put him with Ruben Niebla. We've seen what Ruben Niebla does.
Yeah, bring him to Point Loma.
And you know what? He's turned Nick Pivetta into like a Cy Young candidate this year in the National League. So, yeah. Of course I would. And put anybody with Nick Pivetta, or not Nick Pivetta, but Ruben Niebla and Nick Pivetta. Put him with everybody. And my guess is he would figure some things out here in San Diego.
He had a 2.28 ERA in 2022. He threw 228 innings. Listen to his last 3 full years: 205 innings, 228 innings, 184 innings. Even this year, he's going to throw 150 innings. And he's been awful. I'm with you. I'd completely buy on Sandy Alcantara. That's why I like Luis Robert. I like buying low. Like you buy high if you got to have an eye on now and an eye on the future if you're AJ Preller.
Right.
You don't only have an eye on 2025. I'm not selling everything for 2025. I like my chances in 2025. Guess what? I want to like my chances in 2026. That's why I'd buy Luis Robert That's why I'd buy Sandy Alcantara.
But for me and you, it's all about this year, baby.
But you're getting both, right?
Yeah, you are.
Because with like a Luis Robert, he's been good here recently. So maybe he helps you now.
My guess is whoever AJ goes out and gets won't be a rental.
Well, neither of those players are.
I know. But like Luis Robert Jr. could become a rental if they don't pick up his club option for the next couple of years and the $20 million that he would be owed.
I'd be surprised if you moved anything if it was only a rental. Like you'd be buying real low.
Mm-hmm.
You'd just be giving up nothing.
Like what did AJ trade for Tanner Scott? I can't even remember.
Players.
Oh, okay.
But who are they?
Baseball players.
Baseball players were part of that deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, it's always going to, if it's not Leo DeVries or if it's not Ethan Salas, does anyone even care? I mean, yes, some of these top pitching prospects in the organization, I'm sure you care about.
My buddies at Mad Friars might care, but other than that.
But isn't that kind of the thing? Like, seriously, if I told you they acquired Luis Robert or they acquired Sandy Alcantara, they acquired Jarren Duran, and the names Leo DeVries and Ethan Salas didn't cross our Twitter feed, would anyone really lose their mind over that? No. Right?
I bet a lot of people can't even name who was traded in the Luis Ariz deal. How many people
that would include John Schaefer?
Yeah, how many people can name the players that were traded in the Dylan Cease deal? I know Drew Thorpe was, but
who was in this deal, Brian?
The Tanner Scott deal. It was Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing went to the Padres. The Marlins got Robbie Snelling.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Adam Mazur.
Yeah.
Graham Pauly.
Oh, that's right. Stop Pauly.
And of course, the legendary Jay Bashirs. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
It close enough.
Proves the point. I mean, shoot, you traded away a generational crop of players in the Juan Soto deal. I'm not sitting here losing sleep.
Yeah.
I'm just not. The Nationals are talking about trading Mackenzie Gore.
Already,
Their GM is quote saying, I don't want to do it, but if I get the right, I'll listen on everyone. So yeah, they probably did get a good return. Well, guess what? They suck. The 20-something games under 500, and Mackenzie Gore will be dealt.
Yeah.
And so will James Wood one day.
Oh, and Padres won that trade.
Padres won the Soto trade?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Because they don't suck and the Nationals do.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you could argue the Nationals maybe got the better of the Padres. You could argue the Padres got the better of the Nationals. I don't think it's some historically bad trade either way.
No, I would have done it every single time.
Exactly. So anyway, the point is, I love how many names are being discussed right now.
There's like 10.
I'm adding Sandy Alcantara to that list.
Adam.
You know, I'm adding the starter tonight for the Marlins, Edward Cabrera. He's been awesome.
Adam.
Put him on the list.
The list is
the dude
growing.
who pitched yesterday, he was incredible.
Put him on the list.
6'8" dude.
Put him on the list.
I want him. He's not getting traded.
No.
The San Diego kid is tweeting about the Chargers leaving and about if you don't extend Will Myers, I'm not a fan anymore. Trade for him.
Kyle Stowers.
I want them all.
I would love Kyle Stowers.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Kyle Stowers, but Craig Mish is saying he's not going anywhere, and he probably shouldn't. He's under control for 5 years.
It's like you got somebody that actually has turned into something. You want to keep them if you're trying to keep your job too. Can't just keep trading away guys that are coming up and becoming good players.
Right.
Like, oh, he's a good player now. We have under team control for 6 more years. That's actually trading.
Gotta go. Exactly. All right. More on the Padres at the deadline on the other side, including what Dennis Lynn wrote today in The Athletic. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. He'll join us live at 3:30. John Wilner from the Wilner Hotline and the Mercury News will join us at 5:30 from Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. We're getting you ready for Padres and Fish coming up later within the hour. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Wendy's new Takis Fuego meal. Padres took game 1 of their 3-game series yesterday afternoon against the Marlins 2-1. Game 2 is at 3:40 this afternoon. First pitch, Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day, Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. He's a no-show at camp holding out for a new contract. Wendy's new Takis Fuego meal is here with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich and small Fuego fries inspired by Takis Fuego chips and a 1-ounce Takis Fuego bag and a drink. Grab yours today, limited time only at a participating U.S. Wendy's. While supplies last, Takis and Fuego are used under license.
Previously on Jon and Jim.
So I get trying to hold on to a lead, and we'll see if it works or not. There's no guarantee they win this game.
Martin Maldonado. Fair ball down the left field line into the corner. Merrill racing around. We'll see if Lieber's going to send him. No. They stop him. He runs through the stop sign, and he's safe.
There's no guarantee that this strategy was the right one. They'll win the game with their bullpen. They've done it more often than not.
Robert Suarez as the Padres lead 2-1. Last chance to dance for the Marlins.
It's the strength of their team, so why would you run away or go away from the strength of your team?
On the ground towards shortstop. Bogarts will flip to second base. That's the ball game. Padres win.
We know this bullpen's going to be the most used bullpen in the sport.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Getting you ready for Padres and Marlins and the upcoming trade deadline. Really good look at the Padres' needs from Dennis Lin today in The Athletic. We'll get into that momentarily. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant for Brian Dutcher. High expectations on the Mesa. He will join us coming up at 3:30 with practice underway for the upcoming season. Dennis Lin wrote what we just discussed, so I guess we kind of stole some of the thunder from Dennis. He said, how does their long-term needs impact their trade deadline now? So how does 2026 impact 2025? He started his article by saying they made 5 trades last year involving major leaguers. 5. 4 of those trades involved getting a player that was under control for at least another year. The only that didn't was Martin Perez. And he says, look at 2024 as an indicator for 2025, that they could be active, but not just to fill out needs in 2025, but to address holes in 2026. What are some of those holes? The rotation, for example. Robert Suarez could be out the door. Luis Arraez could be out the door. We've discussed some of these needs, but he says as you look to the deadline 9 days from now, don't just think about 2025. Look at Preller's history, which is acquiring players that are going to be controllable beyond 2025, as we've been discussing.
That's his MO. He wants to acquire talent that's under control. He is not a big rental guy.
Yeah, completely agree.
He does not like to do rentals. Over the course of the last 5 years, I would say 95% of the trades he's made and moves he's made, like trade wise,
are for controllable pieces.
Are for controllable pieces, not signing players, but trading for players. They are controllable pieces. I think the only players that come to mind that weren't controllable, Tanner Scott, Rich Hill.
It's been like those the Mitch
Garrett
Moreland
Cooper
types. There's been some guys. Josh Bell, did you say?
Josh Bell.
There's been a few. When you put it that way, it's probably not 95%, but it's probably like 80%.
Well, okay. Darvish, Snell, Musgrove, Cease, Arraez, King, Adam, Hoeing.
Yeah, it's probably
Soto.
4 out of every 5 for a controllable player.
Yeah, so
something like that.
More often than not, he goes out and he tries to get players that are controllable. At least names and players that have a big role in the team.
Yeah. I mean, he writes, by the way, we were just talking about Sandy Alcantara. He says, might Preller be bold enough to say, he said, would anyone feel confident completely ruling out the Padres on a rental starter like Zach Littell or a former Cy Young Award winner in Sandy Alcantara? Might Preller be bold enough to say pursue Athletics closer Mason Miller and turn him into a starter for 2026? That's what Dennis is writing. Because what Preller is thinking is atypical from other GMs in the sport. Plus, at some point, the reason the creativity has to exist is like they've spent a lot of money and they're not getting a lot of like payroll relief. You could say, well, you're getting relief on, King or Arraez or Cease, but how are you backfilling?
Covering Preller is so fun because you could say anything about the trade deadline.
You could be right.
And you could be right.
It's not that crazy to say it.
Hey, let's go trade for Mason Miller and turn him into a starter.
Yeah.
Like,
because he's been really good as a reliever.
Hey, we got to trade Jake Cronenworth to make a move
Mason Miller a starter.
to get Mason Miller and Jarren Duran.
Right.
Like, huh? Like it is just every possible scenario you could imagine, and you write it down on paper, you say it out of your mouth. It's like, well, it's not that far-fetched because it's AJ Preller. Every conversation at the trade deadline about, who the Padres could go after, and even if it's crazy, as long as you end it with, well, it's AJ Preller, it's not that crazy.
I mean, we've had Kevin on 3 times a week for months on end at this point. And how many times has he said in the 3 times a week and months on end, this is the belief, but we are talking about AJ Preller.
It's AJ Preller.
I mean, he writes that, and he's right. And Dennis Lynn writes it, and I'm sure AJ Castleval has written it, and I know we've said it. And you're right. You can't be that foolish when you propose something when AJ Preller is the general manager of the team you're covering, because he's done some things that are truly unconventional, and it's not that crazy to think that he could do it again.
Like, I don't even know who the GM for the Pirates is, but nobody in Pittsburgh or whoever covers the Pirates are talking about, well, they could trade this player. Maybe they might trade Paul Skeens, or like, no, there's no, the creativity is not there when it comes to other teams. As far as Padres creativity goes, it's every which direction. Like, okay, do this, you could do this, could do this, could do this, could do this. And like everything feels like it's on the table.
Yeah. The thing to me that would remain the big surprise, the surprise to me is the stand pat minimal change.
He won't.
I mean, it feels safe. You could almost make the case it feels wise considering how they're playing. What are they? 10-5 in the last 15 games, 9-5 now in the last 14 games. Like 619 earlier texted in. He says, I'm on team minimal additions. So that's interesting because I think most people are like, you only live once. It's Preller. Let's go all out. Let's go out with a bang. I kind of prefer that way. And every time they do that, every time, like, man, they're all in, but they're not all in because the next year they're good again. Like, look at the last 5 or 6 years. They've stayed in the conversation. There's been no rebuild. I say, if you go all in again with AJ Preller, are they really going to be in rebuild mode in 2026? I say no. They'll be competitive again.
They're always in retool mode.
Maybe retool, yeah.
Yeah. How much would it cost to buy a new cord for you for that camera right now? Like $5?
Well, no, it actually would be free since you have one in your bag. You're not.
Oh,
using.
I do. I gave it to you.
So as opposed to,
do you want it?
Complaining. No,
well,
I don't.
I could give it to you.
Just have the cord that sucks,
and maybe it could fix things.
I don't think it's the cord.
Really? What do you think it is?
The computer. Want to buy me a computer?
Buy a new computer. Didn't you just buy that
Your
computer?
Your computer sucks.
My computer sucks, and yet it always works.
There's nothing wrong with this computer.
Always is very, might be pushing it.
Everything is fine.
Okay.
Everything is fine. I'm back.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. Was that from the Lego movie?
Yes, good job.
Jones.
Did you watch it though? You liked it though?
No, I haven't watched it. Are you kidding? Why would I watch a movie about Lego? I don't even watch real movies about real things.
That's true.
Like, what could possibly happen? Oh, the Lego saves the world. Who cares? It's Lego.
Well, you saved
Grow up.
You saved the Lego world.
Grow up, Legos.
Why are you yelling at me?
Jones is over Legos though. He's kind of got, like, we have 50,000 Legos. Like, I'm not really into Legos. I'm like,
well, now he's into cards. Congratulations.
We spent 10 grand on these Legos.
Well, you're going to spend 10 grand on cards.
Correct.
But
and he had me look up today. We went to a card show, me, you, and Jones. Someone gave him, because he's a 6-year-old. I'm like, it's his first card show. And they just start giving him things. Yeah. Someone's like, here's a Kobe Mayo Orioles prospect autograph card.
Oh, Kobe Mayo.
And we're like, okay. So this morning he's like, how much is it worth? I'm like, nothing. He wouldn't stop bothering me though. He's like, look on the internet, look it up. Last 3 sales between $70 and $80. I'm like, we are selling this Kobe Mayo card that was given to you for free at a San Diego card show. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about dodgeball.
No, we were talking about Preller.
Yes, I know.
We were talking about Preller, and we're talking about what Dennis Lynn wrote. And it's worth the read because it talks about it like shows who's under control beyond 2025 and who isn't. And that's what makes it interesting.
Because it is every year you're saying, all right, go all in, go all in, go all in. But, AJ always, he makes moves that aren't just about the 1 year. Going all in is like, all right, we're trading DeVries and Salas, and we're going and getting guys that are like purely rentals. You know, like that to me is like all in.
Yep. I agree with that.
They go all in while also maintaining these players and then retooling right away.
Like you're hedging a little bit.
Yeah.
You're not truly, like, when you think about it from the poker analogy, they've never been all in. They've never traded everything away for a 1 year run at a title.
Right. Like, what year have the Padres in recent memory under AJ Preller gone all in to the point where next year they turn into the 1998 Marlins?
Right, the team after the World Series, the teardown.
Yeah.
And but John, they traded everything for Juan Soto. Yeah, but they had him under control for 2.5 years. We didn't know they would trade him.
And they were one of the best teams in baseball last year, and this year, they're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
And they had 5 All-Stars.
It's never been a complete get rich or go broke.
No, that's because they have Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Merrill long term. They have guys here that have been here long term that are the core of your team.
Right.
Jake Cronenworth, who might get traded. You've had pieces of your core that you build around. And that's always a good thing to have. When you have Manny Machado on your team, you build around Manny, and that's what AJ's done. And you have Tatis under long term and Merrill under long term now.
Bogarts. I mean, Sheets
is here for multiple years.
I think he's under control for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Bogarts, whether you like it or not, is under control. I mean, they really did. They just said, here's our lineup. Let's lock it up. Like, if you think about that, I mean, that's the $1 billion investment. The $1 billion investment has been in their lineup.
Yeah. The top 5 in their lineup are making $1.1 billion.
So it goes back to what Craig Mish just told us. He covers the Marlins. He's like, the Padres have done it kind of like opposite what other teams have done. Like, when you spend all your money on pitching, you're a pitch away from that pitcher never impacting you ever again. And yes, they've spent money on starting pitching, but they've never doled out the $200 million deal. They've never done that, that crazy, like, think about some of the largest deals, Max Fried type deal.
Yeah,
they've never put the 200 in. They'll put 100 on Musgrove. They put 100 on Darvish, although the length of that deal is so long. But when they've really, really spent, they've done it on position players. I think position players are a little safer because position players rarely are like a play away from their career being over, where a pitcher truly is. I mean, you have an arm injury, you might never, ever, ever look like the pitcher you were before the injury.
And who knows if Sandy Alcantara is going to be the Cy Young pitcher that he once was. So
he may not.
Probably, he may not. You're right.
I mean, he probably won't. Is he ever going to have a Cy Young?
The odds are he's probably not going to win another Cy Young.
Now, can he get back to being good? Definitely. But can he get back
serviceable?
To
because this right now is not serviceable.
7.14 ERA.
Not good.
Over 100 innings or whatever it is. All right, Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball at 3:30. We'll have the "Can you go home again" conversation coming up on the other side. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball at 3:30. We have SDFC tickets to give away for Friday night. Other great giveaways today include Wiz Khalifa tickets and Creed tickets. We're getting you ready for the Padres and the Marlins coming up in about 30 or so minutes. It's Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Dave Velasquez will join us coming up at 3:30. Longtime Aztec men's basketball assistant. High expectations on the Mesa. Practice underway for the upcoming year. He'll join us coming up at 3:30. John Wilner will join us at 5:30. The Chargers.
What about them? They're back, John.
Well, they're literally back because they're practicing on campus at this very hour at the University of San Diego. Jim Harbaugh, in addressing the media this afternoon, is wearing a Toreros hat. Of course, he's the former head coach at USD.
Mm-hmm.
Paraphrasing, but along the lines of, it is great to be back. Jim Harbaugh said,
I get it for him. I get it for him.
In returning to the University of San Diego. He wasn't saying San Diego in general, but the Chargers are practicing today, and I believe tomorrow as well, in pads in San Diego, in what is a return of sorts for the organization for the first time in nearly a decade to the county. I know they've had some events and various interactions, maybe participating in Miramar before as well, but practicing today at USD. Jim Harbaugh, who coached at USD, back in San Diego, and the Chargers, at least for 24 or 48 hours, Jim, are here in San Diego County, getting ready for the upcoming year.
Yeah, it just falls very flat with me. It just, I was here when this whole thing went down. A lot of fans out there remember what happened. The back and forth between the Chargers and the city, and then the teaming up with the Raiders on a random night. And then, the day they leave, it with the way Dean Spanos treated this fan base while here, and the Spanos family treated this fan base in San Diego. The second that they moved to LA, they did everything in their power to not include San Diego at all. They tried to get as far away from this city as possible, and the fan base as well. So coming back to San Diego, the saying, time heals all wounds. I think this is a wound for a lot of fans, maybe not all fans, and I get it, okay? But for me, this is not a wound that will heal over time because of how I saw this organization treat this city and this fan base, especially Dean, especially his, kids. They treated this fan base like crap here, and then going to LA and doing essentially everything that they never did in San Diego in LA. When all the fans wanted was just, can we get a new video board at Qualcomm? Can we get the powder blues? Like just like little things to enhance the overall fan experience. They never did. Yet they're doing all of that in LA. Now I get it. There are renters up at SoFi Stadium. That is not by any means the doing of the brain of Dean Spanos. Dean Spanos, he was born on third base, thought he had a triple, and got lucky that Stan Kroenke was actually a visionary and could build that stadium, and got lucky that Stan asked him if he wanted to be a renter of that stadium. And for them to come back to San Diego and try to, regain that San Diego fan base that they said F you to 9 years ago, I think it falls incredibly flat.
Yeah, it definitely falls on deaf ears. I mean, you're certainly never going to mean to San Diego what you meant to San Diego. So I don't even know truly what the goal is. I've said this since day one of the relocation. They're probably think of a professional relocation where the team entered a market and they were disliked entering it. In the history of sports, like when the Lakers moved from Minneapolis to LA, was LA like, I don't want the Lakers? Of course not. When the Brooklyn Dodgers moved to LA, did anyone in LA not want the Dodgers? Of course not. Think about all the moves in the history of sports. New Orleans Jazz to Utah. There's a zillion examples of this. Like the Raiders moving to Las Vegas. Las Vegas wasn't like, we don't want you. The cities in which the teams were in were displeased that the teams were leaving. But the Chargers, the only example, in modern sports history, or someone correct me if I'm wrong, they're the only example of a team moving somewhere where you moved, you weren't wanted. Maybe the second example of that would be the Las Vegas A's. is nobody is clamoring for the A's in Las Vegas. But the first example of this, where it's not just was it falling on deaf ears, it was like nobody wants you. The sentiment in LA, and I think some of it probably remains, is like, go, you're San Diego's team. Nobody's
what are you
asking
doing here?
What are you doing? So that's the weirdest thing about it. I get relocation. I get business. I understand professional sports. Like if the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow, it's a bad example. If the Jacksonville Jaguars moved tomorrow to London, people in London would be excited. But when the San Diego Chargers moved to LA, nobody in LA was like, this is the moment I've been waiting for. Finally, the Chargers are in Los Angeles. That's the part of it that to make a decision solely about dollars and cents and not at all about any of the fans, that's the part of me that is like still remains unbelievable to this day.
Especially going to a city where they are not the only NFL team.
At the time, they were joining forces with another relocated team.
Right.
I mean, they had previously been there. They left. They came back.
And, the Rams, they're the first team to win a championship, of the teams that relocated.
Yep.
They won a Super Bowl. So
basically right away.
Now, again, I don't think that Super Bowl has done much for them because every single game for the Rams and the Chargers is opposing teams, fans. Like, if you watch a Rams-Niners game at SoFi, it's all red.
Yeah, exactly.
All red. Now, like, Seahawks fans don't travel as well as Niner fans, nor do Arizona Cardinals fans travel like Niners fans. But
it's like the Packers.
Still.
Or the Bears or the Eagles.
You get a big brand in there.
Steelers.
You're going to see 80% of the opposing team's fan base.
Yeah, not like the Rams are completely innocent, by the way, in this conversation, but just to localize it. I mean, the Chargers obviously is what everyone cares about.
Well, the thing that they had to fall back on was there actually was a legit history of the Rams in LA.
Yeah, no, true. But I mean, I 100%, but tell that to St. Louis.
I know, I get it. I mean? Yeah, I trust me. I hate relocation.
Yeah, it's not great
because it's these billionaire owners
becoming richer,
being cheap and trying to become richer by moving the team and saying F you to the fan base.
100%.
The fact that, the Chargers couldn't get a stadium built in San Diego. Yeah, if you want to blame like the city, we've talked about this. I think the people in charge, Kevin Faulkner, has a lot of blame for this. He was the former mayor of this town.
So does Chargers ownership.
That's where I was getting to.
Yeah.
But Chargers ownership even more so, has blame for this whole thing because you're telling me that a billionaire, even though he's like a poor billionaire, if there's even such a thing, couldn't find a way to get this done. That just shows how stupid he was when it came to these things.
Yeah, or that they wanted out, right?
And then he wanted out. He wanted out. And the easiest way out was to get on his knees and follow Stan Kroenke to LA.
All right, Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball will join us on the other side. We'll talk about the Aztecs practice underway for the upcoming season. Expectations maybe have never been higher on the Mesa. John Wilner at Big Ten Media Days with the latest in the Pac-12 and the Mountain West and college football playoff and everything else. But Dave Velasquez on the other side, we're still leading you up to Padres and Marlins as well. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Make sure to get there next Monday night. It's the final Monday in July. You've got a chance to win big. 10 winners every hour, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Odds better than ever. Onyx players will receive an extra $100 cash bonus on top of their winnings. Plus, earn entries all month by playing. Get 2 times the entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $50,000 in the big deal game. It's a promotion you're not going to want to miss.
And get ready to elevate your gaming experience, guys, with their brand new casino app. Get 200,000 bonus coins when you sign up and enjoy real rewards with every in-app purchase. Just play online at playjamulcasino.com. That's playjamulcasino.com.
Also, make sure to get to Lobster Brunch at Prime Cut every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's every Sunday. It's the perfect way to treat yourself to a Sunday well spent at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres and Marlins, game 2 of their 3-game series. First pitch will be today at 3:40. Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day, Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. He's a no-show at camp. He's holding out for a new contract. It's a race to the rebate finish line. Homeowners are saving $500 instantly with Anderson Plumbing's water heater buyback program and qualifying for instant rebates. You better call before rebates run out. Book today at AndersonPHA.com. Nobody wows clients like they do.
All right, practice underway for men's basketball on the Mesa. It will be here before we know it, early November. San Diego State back on the floor at Viejas Arena. Always great to connect with Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. Aztecs with high expectations once again, getting underway. Practice for the upcoming year. Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for taking time with us here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Great seeing you earlier. Well, for our listeners, what's it been like? You've been on the floor for the last couple of weeks with this new team, a lot of returning pieces, some new additions as well. What have the first few weeks of practice been like?
It's been great. And I want, first of all, appreciate you having me on. But our guys have came back. They all came back in really good shape. This is our first time being as a team. It's not the first time we've seen them all summer, obviously. First time being on the floor together as a team. And it's amazing how much faster, how much more smooth things can be ran from a practice standpoint when you have so many returning guys. That's what coaches look for. You can move faster through getting the habits back, getting the fundamentals right, and then where you can move on and really get to the kind of the meat and potatoes of what we do and the foundation of what San Diego State basketball is. And we've had our new guys have picked up this stuff very quickly due to the fact that most of the returners, if not all of them, have really been out there for those reps over the past, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it might be. So it's been good. It's been great so far. And we're hoping that we can continue to stay healthy as much as we can as we move forward through the summer.
What's the feeling like knowing you have so many players from last year's team returning this year?
That's always a hard question because you need the guys that are returning to make their own individual jumps, from whether it's freshman to sophomore to junior, or, let's use Miles Bird as an example. Last year was the first year he was a guy that, he went from being 6th, 7th on a scouting report to number 1 at times. And he's going to have to adjust, and he was making adjustments throughout the year. And now he's got to be ready to go, understand those adjustments he had to make and be better than even he was last year. So, and that's from top to bottom from all our guys. And it's from, there's some guys that came off the bench last year that are hungry to try to earn a starting position this year and earn more responsibility and time on that floor. So it's been, it's been fun to see their hunger because of what you're asking about, which is what is the ceiling. Obviously, we're incredibly optimistic with the team we have, the talent we have, the length we have on the floor, and honestly, the experience of having so many guys back and new guys.
Dave Velasquez, longtime successful San Diego State men's basketball assistant, with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I know people have to ask you about this because you have so much depth, and it's still only the summer. But what would you say when you're asked, is this the deepest team in San Diego State men's basketball history, or will that play out over the next 6 or 8 months?
It will play out, and I do think that it will be a really big strength of ours. Mm-hmm. Especially as you go through a season, and you're gonna go. There's gonna be hiccups. There's gonna be times where guys go down with hopefully all minor injuries, whether it's a rolled ankle, whether it's a shoulder issue, which we had last year a couple of times, where guys are going to be able to step up and be able to rely on that bench and that depth. And when they all are healthy, we're going to have some hard decisions to make as a coaching staff. And we're going to have to probably play more guys than we usually do because the talent on this team is really deep and it's deep at a lot of positions. And especially if, like I said, if healthy, right now we're continuing to get Magoon Guaf back and get him ready to go. And then, Reese Waters is, we're being very cautious with his development. He looks great, but we're still holding out on some of the live stuff as much as we go through this summer. So, and that has nothing to do with his foot. It's just kind of just making sure that Reese is going to be ready to go when the time matters the most, which is, it's not in July. You don't win You don't win a conference championship in July. It's helpful. It's a great part of your foundation of how to get there, to get to the end goal, but you don't do it in July. You do that as the season approaches.
Yeah. How is Magoon looking? How is he progressing? And word is he's put on a little bit of muscle this offseason so far.
He's almost, not from last year, but from the time he walked on campus, he's almost unrecognizable in terms of his strength and how he looks. I mean, John saw him today. He's, it's not just 20 pounds of just, eating, it's like the kid, he's really bulked up, and just even his legs and his strength in his legs as he's continuing to work on his quads and his hamstrings and just everything about him. He's just continuing to develop exactly how you'd want a young man to develop through our program, continuing to eat better, eat right, get a great sleep, and then put his time in the weight room. He's been awesome so far this summer in the weight room, and his ability to focus without being 100% healthy, with having the brace on that knee, but have a focus to wake up every day and continue to take care of the body his way he's had. Is, if you had to ask me, what would you want from Magoon back in April, I would say exactly what we've got now in July. He's done everything we've asked him to do with everything he's going through.
What did he weigh when he got here? Where was he and where is he now?
I don't want to throw out a number, but I will give an estimate. I would guess somewhere between 30 to 40 pounds lighter.
Wow. Yeah, in 2 years.
Yeah. I would guess. I think that would probably be pretty accurate.
Yeah, 100%. Dave Velasquez with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I know it's early. It's only been a couple of weeks, but the freshmen, I think about the freshmen you've brought in over the last couple of years and how they've been ready to play immediately. Look at last year with Farrow and Taj DeGorville. This year, Tay Simmons and LZ Harrington. I think it's cliche, but it's true. They don't, quote unquote, look like freshmen. What have you seen in limited opportunity so far for Tay and LZ?
Well, the number thing I've seen out of them is, one is they come with a really good background of basketball fundamentals. They've both been really well coached in high school. You can tell that they can pick things up quickly. They understand what we're asking them to do. And then the other thing is they're really mature. I don't know how many follow that stuff on social media, but what Tay Simmons and LZ Harrington are is as mature a freshman group that you could ever be around. And that's on and off the floor. That's how they even approach the weight room, how they, they're two guys that, they're freshmen, and you look up and they're in the recovery tub after workouts. You don't see that. Usually you have to teach freshmen to do that. That's not even who they are. They're very much advanced in terms of how their approach is as freshmen. And it's been great to still, there's definitely times they still look like freshmen, compared to everyone else that's out there. But they're so talented. They're incredibly coachable, and the future is so bright for both of them.
Your two guys, Farrell Compton and Taj DeGorville, coming into this year, has their offseason looked, in your opinion, and early on so far? Are the expectations for them, I'm sure, going to be raised to another level going into the year two for those guys?
Yeah, and again, they're two guys that last year when they got here at this time, it's the first time hearing any of our voices. It's the first time hearing the terminology we're using on the floor. Your talent's one thing, but to do what the coach are asking you to do what your teammates are asking you to do. Now they're doing that for LZ and Tay. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing. It's like everything you believe in about it, being a coach and making sure that the older guys teach the younger guys. We have that now, and Tay and LZ get to look, ask Farrow and Taj questions. What the coach mean? Like they can speak in their own kind of terms together of knowing what we want out of them. And, they've really done a good job on that part of the game. And the other thing they've done is just their bodies just look different. Our fans are going to say the same thing. I mean, I think, John, you said it to me today. I mean, Farrow just looks different. Taj looks different. They look older. They look more mature. They look more physically ready to continue to contribute. Like you said, they contributed a lot last year as freshmen. Yeah. Too, in the past few years. I mean, that's as much as any freshman's contributed in a long time, but what those two guys were able to do last year.
Final one from me. I think we touched on this with you when we talked about Miles Bird, maybe when he announced he was returning to the Mesa, but you were with him throughout the process in Chicago, the Combine. What is this offseason and the experiences he went through in Los Angeles during the training, in Chicago with the Combine? What impact will that have on him as he enters his redshirt junior fourth year on the Mesa?
I think it's just a very a focus that he needs, which is to continue to work on his body, continue to put on weight. Incredibly proud of him for coming out and publicly going about his battle with diabetes and how hard it is for him as an athlete and a high level athlete with the things he has to go through. And I think that's actually an important piece for him mentally to get over, where, people, he doesn't have to run to the back to handle that at times. And then the second thing is, to just be more consistent, and I think so for him as a coach, you want that for all your guys, work on your body and be more consistent, and I think that for Miles, it kind of just, it simplified things where sometimes they go to these combine things and one guy's telling them, I need to see this out of you. Another scout or NBA team say, we really want to see it. For Miles, it was very consistent across the board. We want to see you shoot the three-point shot better and more consistent. Your numbers got to grow. And the second thing is your body's got to be more NBA ready. And I feel like those two things are things that, of course, we're going to want for him and he's going to want for himself as we move forward.
Shot it well at the combine in Chicago. I'll tell you that. Watching those 2 days, shot the ball well, distributed well, impacted the game at both ends, which is something Aztec fans have seen for a long time on the Mesa. And everyone's looking forward to this upcoming year, which will get underway the first week of November. Dave, thank you. Great seeing you earlier today. We'll see you at the Jam later on this summer and appreciate you hopping on.
I appreciate you guys, and it gets us excited. People want to hear it.
Oh, we lost him there right at the end.
Snipered.
Pew, pew. No, we lost him.
And he's gone.
Okay. Well, he was, I think, thanking
Aztec
maybe
fans.
us and definitely Aztec fans.
Yeah, and he would have ended with Go Aztecs.
100%. 100%.
What happened?
All right. On the other side, Padres and Marlins playing game 2 of their 3-game series. Plus, coming up at 5:30, John Wilner, Mercury News, Wilner Hotline, with more on the state of college athletics, the Pac-12, the Mountain West. He's live actually at Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. He'll join us coming up at 5:30. If you missed Craig Mish, who covers the Marlins, you'll hear a conversation coming up at 4:30. We have SDFC tickets to give away. This is Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, the iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Mariah Carey, and more. September 19th and 20th, T-Mobile in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. You're listening for a goal call. Okay. It sounds almost just like that.
I think it's exactly that.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Open the app right now. You have 5 minutes to qualify to win 2 free SDFC tickets for Friday night. Open the app. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Click the talkback mic. Tell us your favorite SDFC player, and you are qualified to win a pair of tickets for Friday night when SDFC takes on Nashville SC, and that's at Snapdragon Stadium. So you got 5 minutes, a little less than that right now. Get to the app right now. Qualify for your chance to win those tickets.
Are your expectations through the roof for this year's Aztec basketball team?
Yeah. I mean, especially when I go and watch. I mean, I've said this over the last couple of years. They keep retransforming themselves to look more and more like a team that plays basketball like in the SEC. They're wider.
I thought they were going to
in the NBA.
I thought you were going to stop and just say they look like a team that just plays basketball.
They do play basketball, but they look like a team that they're just bigger, stronger, faster. The freshmen are bigger. The experienced players are big. It's hard to describe. Like Magoon Guav, if you see his body right now, you'll be amazed. I mean, you will truly be amazed the next time you see Magoon Guav. Dave just told you has put on maybe 40 pounds since he got here. 40 pounds.
And it says right now, ESPN, they list Magoon at 7 feet 205. That was last year.
I don't know what he said. I think he's at least 215.
Okay, so if he was 205 last year, he's 215 now. So he
still have 3 months till the season.
Yeah. I mean, if he comes in at 220 this season, 7 feet 220.
Yeah, he's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem.
It's good.
Hear me out. Remember the team that went to the national championships? You remember that team? With all those, think about it, like 6th-year players, Adam Seiko, and 5th-year players, Nathan Mensah, right?
Yes.
This team is all like that. Like the newcomers, Sean Newman, I think is his 5th year of college basketball. Reese Waters, 6th year. Miles Bird, 4th year. Magoon Guath, it's his 3rd year on the Mesa. BJ Davis, 3rd year. It's a lot of veteran pieces. Jeremiah Oden, who they added, I think is his 5th or 6th year. So they're a veteran team. What does Brian Dutcher always say? Like, you want to be old? You want to stay old? They've gotten so much older. They went from young to old almost overnight. And the expectations are right there, Jim, with some of the highest expectations they've had.
The best teams under Brian Dutcher have been the teams that have experience and that are veteran.
Yep. Just almost all of his teams, maybe other
right. I'm trying to think. Like last year, I think was one of the only years I can remember under Brian Dutcher that it was such a young team, but also accomplished some things that hasn't been accomplished by teams that young in the past in Aztec history. Making the tournament last year, I think it was an accomplishment. Now it
definitely was.
Obviously, they got blown out against North Carolina, but at the end of the day, last year's team making the tournament, that's an accomplishment. And then now this year's team with damn near every player returning, the expectations are going to go up. And then the transfers that they brought in and the freshmen that they brought in, Miles Bird returning, like, man, I cannot wait to watch this team play because they could do some special things this upcoming season.
And you can already tell, like, in just being there, and I really don't think this is cliche at all. Like, there's like a feeling in there that like they need to all point in the same direction right now because they know what the ceiling is, which is extremely high. Like if everything goes the way you hope it to go, where they're able to stay healthy enough and get max production out of these players, they're going to be one of the better teams in the history of San Diego State. Doesn't mean they're going to play for a national championship because the tournament is unpredictable. It's March Madness for a reason, but they absolutely have a chance heading into the year to live up to some crazy high expectations over the course of the regular season.
And I don't feel like, like remember 2 years ago coming off a national championship, that was a hard team to coach because you've already reached damn near the top.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And for the amount of players they had returning on that team from the previous year they made the national championship, the natural course of things that would be, it's like, hey, we're gonna have a letdown, and they made the Sweet 16. But it was a hard team to coach for Dutch. There was a lot of things that year. It was hard to get these guys to get over that hump of complacency from last year's previous national championship run.
Yeah, almost like you were waiting for the NCAA tournament. They finished in 5th place in the Mountain West and were a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament.
And this year's team, they got a taste of March Madness. They got a taste of the tournament, knowing they could do a lot better, knowing
that could fuel them.
Exactly. That's where I was getting. Like the fueling of last year's, I guess, disappointment, hopefully, drives this team this year to make a run. But they have to stay healthy. That's the number one thing. If they don't stay healthy, then that's all.
The Reese Waters and the Magoon Guaths. I mean, Magoon's coming off knee surgery, and Reese Waters missed all of last year. If they're on the floor for most of the year, like Yanni Wetzel said like 5 years ago, like, what's the ceiling? No ceiling, sir. I mean, the ceiling,
Yanni Wetzel.
The ceiling is as high as it's going to get. Yanni Wetzel's lone year here, they went 30-2, and they truly did not have a ceiling with that team other than, a global pandemic. That basically was the ceiling for San Diego State in 2019-20. All right, we're going to kick off the 4:00 hour with the wrap. The Padres and Marlins are underway. The good thing is it's a long game. The bad thing is it's the Marlins that have struck first. A couple of runs in the first inning off Stephen Kolek, who's back up to make the start tonight for the Padres against the Fish. And in the first inning, Miami scored just once yesterday. They've already scored twice today, and they lead right now over the Padres 2-0 in the first inning, middle game of a 3-game series.
Yeah, maybe the Stephen Kolek experiment is over.
Just like that. 2/3 of an inning, send him back down.
No. I'm just saying, like, for the year.
Right, just for the year.
Well, look, he started out pitching very well for the Padres. Now his ERA is up to 4.46. I can't wait till Michael King gets back, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But unfortunately, I don't know who's going to be filling turns in the rotation until then.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Because he won't be back.
Maybe they get someone at the deadline. I don't know.
True. No, that's true. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Marlins lead the Padres in the first, or through an inning, 2-0 in South Florida. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. If you miss Craig Mish, who covers the Marlins in South Florida, you'll hear that conversation on the trade deadline at 4:30. Then John Wilner, the Wilner Hotline Mercury News. He will join us coming up at 5:30. So a lot to get to. Great giveaways today as well. We'll get to hour 3 of Jon and Jim. That's on the other side. This is Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres Marlins, game 2 of their 3-game series underway in Miami. Marlins have an early 2-0 lead in the top of the second inning with Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres. And NFL news of the day with camps opening up. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin is not at Commanders camp. He is seeking a new contract. He is holding out. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
I mean this in the nicest way possible. AJ Preller is an absolute psychopath. He is in on everybody.
Yeah, I like it that way.
I do too. Give me more. Give me more rumors. Give me more trade possibilities. Give me it all.
We had read earlier, maybe from Ken Rosenthal a week ago, that it appeared as if the White Sox were willing to pay down all of Robert. And he's like, well, Robert's playing better, so you might get some pay down for 2025.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3, Jon and Jim. Craig Mish covers the Marlins. Trade deadline's coming up. You'll hear from Craig Mish at 4:30. John Wilner Hotline from Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas with more on the Mountain West, the Pac-12, and the fallout and what comes next. He will join us coming up at 5:30. We are keeping our eye on Padres and Marlins. Marlins have the early 2-0 lead in the second inning. Padres threatening to get back into this game.
Jake Cronenworth up in his trade value
with a single. This is what the Padres are hoping for.
If the Padres, and if AJ does trade, or if he did trade Jake Cronenworth, I don't think that's going to go over well with the fan base. I'm just saying right now. I don't think that's going to go over well.
But does that factor into your decision-making process?
No, you can't factor in emotion when it comes to trades and business decisions and trying to make your team better.
Right. Bobblehead dolls and t-shirt giveaways.
Past moments that he's had with the club, nicknames.
Dodger base hits in the postseason.
Yeah, you got to look forward and you have to do things with a clear mind and not emotionally do things like, oh, we don't want to trade him because we know he's loved by the fan base.
I still would say, as we sit here right now, it feels less likely than likely that he would be moved. I'm not sitting here oh, there's a 90% chance Jake Cronenworth is moved. Maybe there's a chance Jake Cronenworth is moved, but I don't know if it's a distinct chance, if it's a 60% chance or if there's just a 20% chance.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It might just be a name that's being put out there because everything and anything's always on the table with AJ.
So he's just one of those guys. Yeah.
The name Jake Cronenworth is oh, that's an interesting thought. Let's just put that out there because it's AJ Preller and anything can happen.
All right, we'll keep you updated on Padres and Marlins game 2 of the 3-game series in Miami. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
We just hinted at it. Would you be okay with the Padres trading Jake Cronenworth?
I'd only be okay with it if I need to see the rest of the moves that they make.
Mm-hmm.
If they just traded Jake Cronenworth, they didn't do any moves. I'm like, what are you doing? They would need to make other moves as well. And then at the end of that, I would tell you how I feel. But if it means making a sizable upgrade elsewhere and, then yeah, I think I'd be okay with it. It'd be tough to watch him go, but if it improves the club, then yeah, you need to look at all options.
Yeah, I agree with you. I need to see what the return looks like, and I want to see how the team plays. I think that's fair. I mean, I'm not just going to sit here the day they trade Jake Cronenworth and be like, they won the trade, because we don't even know if that'll be the case or not, potentially for a long period of time. I could make a compelling argument for him to stay. I could make a compelling argument for him to go. So I'd be okay with it because I understand the business of sports. And this is part of the business of sports. Doesn't mean it's the right idea or the wrong idea, but would I be okay with it? Yeah, absolutely. I'd be okay with it because that's how sports work. You're always thinking about how do you improve your roster.
Yeah.
Next question.
Who will lead the Aztec men's basketball team in scoring this year?
I'm going to go with Miles Bird. He led the team in scoring last year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Either him or Nick Boyd. It was within like a half point.
Yeah, it was very close. Like both, they averaged almost 13 points per game.
Yeah, something like that. We've looked it up a few times. Yeah.
I'll go with Miles Bird this year with Magoon Guath right behind him. Those are my two candidates to lead the team in scoring.
Okay, I like where your head's at. Stats. Load. There you are. A year ago, the Aztecs were led in scoring by Nick Boyd by 1.1 points per game. He averaged 13.4. Miles Bird averaged 12.3.
Okay. But for most of the season, Miles Bird led the team in scoring, and he kind of fell off towards the end of the year. So I'll go with Miles Bird.
I'm going to go with Reese Waters. Didn't play last year due to a foot injury. Is a brilliant scorer. And we saw that in the first half of 2023-24. So Reese Waters is a sixth-year player. Let's see what he averages his lone season playing for San Diego State, 10 points a game. When Jaden Lindy averaged 21, he averaged 10. So I'm going to say I'm with you, though. It's going to be like 3 players averaging 13 points per game. That's my guess.
That would be great.
In terms of leading the way in scoring.
That'd be great.
Yep. Next question.
Should the Chargers play a preseason game in San Diego?
What do you think of that, Jim?
Where?
Snapchat. Preseason game, you could easily do that. Easy.
Double Park.
I don't think the NFL would allow that.
Under what ground?
Well, I'd take that back because
games like Winnipeg.
Well, they play like the how many seats does the Hall of Fame game have?
Way less than 35. Canton, maybe 35.
I was just thinking about tickets and stuff, and the answer for me is no. Don't bend the knee to Dean Spanos. Don't allow that. And it would have to come from like the city and Snapdragon. Like, don't do that. They're gone. They chose to leave. They chose to turn their back on this city and fan base. They're not welcome. And for me, and I know a lot of fans would think otherwise, and that's okay. I'm not going to tell you how to fan. The stuff that I saw and experienced and reported on and like all that stuff, I don't get it, and I never will. And I despise Dean Spanos for what he did to this loyal fan base, and seeing people like literally crying and bawling their eyes out the second that the Chargers left. They're not welcome here. For me,
here's the two things can be true argument. I agree, as in I don't need to see it. But here's the two things can be true. If the Chargers played anyone in a preseason game here, here's my guess. The game's sold out.
Of course it is.
So that's the two things can be true. I don't need to see it. I completely understand the argument that they turned the page and turned their back and left San Diego. But I do think if it ever did happen, even if it's theoretically, I do think they would sell the game out if it ever did happen. And that's the definitive statement on it.
That was
sneezing.
That was too aggressive. I'm sorry.
Next question.
NFL camps open up today. Will the Eagles repeat as Super Bowl champs?
They're the favorites in the NFC. Right now on paper, it's like Eagles to me have the best roster in the NFC. It is so difficult to repeat in today's NFL. I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with no on that one. They're still going to be a really good team, but the only team that's been able to do it is, Mahomes. And until you see it otherwise. But would I be surprised if the Eagles repeat as champs? I wouldn't, because they're that good. Like their roster is that good. But just looking at the history and how things, shape out and the trend lines, I would say no.
Completely agree. They're 6.5 to 1 to win the Super Bowl, which means they're not likely. They are the favorite, but it's still 6.5 to 1. The Bills and the Ravens are both 7 to 1. The Chiefs are 7.5 to 1. The Lions are 9 to 1. So if you're asking me Eagles or field, it's no conversation at all. The field is much more likely to win the Super Bowl than the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles could be good, but I'm taking my chances with KC or these other AFC teams or Detroit or even San Francisco before I would just put all of my eggs in the Eagles basket. like you just said, it's just hard. It's just really, really hard to do that. Is Saquon Barkley going to rush for 2,000 yards again?
Odds are no.
Are they going to complete every 4th and 1 with the tush push? Odds are yes.
Odds are yes.
But they also benefited from the Commanders' upset in Detroit last year. Because they wouldn't have hosted the NFC Championship. They would have been an underdog. That happens sometimes, obviously, in sports and in the NFL. So, no, I will take the field over the Philadelphia Eagles, who I do think will be good. Yeah. But I'll take the field.
Like, listen to their schedule, because when you are a first-place team, you get a first-place schedule the next year. They open up the season against the Cowboys at home, Thursday Night Football. That opens up the NFL season. Then a rematch of last year's Super Bowl in Kansas City.
Not easy.
And then they take on the Rams at home, the Bucks on the road, Denver, who I think is a sleeper team in the AFC.
Okay.
I really do. Denver at home, Giants, they stink. Vikings, we'll see what JJ McCarthy does. Giants again, whatever. Packers, Lions, Cowboys, Bears, Chargers, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders to finish up their season.
Where would that Chargers game be?
That Charger game would be here. Not here. Sorry. It'd be up in LA.
Do you think any Eagles fans will be there? Or is it? I think there'll be Eagles fans.
It's a Monday night.
Yeah, I think it'll be green.
I think it will be too.
I think it'll be pretty.
Should I get Aaron tickets for that game?
1,000%. They're probably only like $900 because of Eagles fans. You should definitely get her tickets.
Let me look at that.
There's nothing I would want to do less than go spend $900 a ticket to watch the Eagles Chargers on a Monday night at SoFi. So definitely do it.
Okay. I'm just looking right now. Hold on.
It can't be cheap, right?
Going to SeatGeek. Love me some SeatGeek right here.
I'm going to guess get in is $229.
$229.
$229.
Okay.
What'd you find?
Well, it's loading for me. All right. 2 tickets.
Yeah.
Section 549. That seems high. That seems like it's at the very tippy top of the stadium.
549.
Row 14.
Yeah.
2 tickets. $147.
It's not bad. So you can get in 2 tickets, $300.
Yeah.
Sure, you can't see the field.
No.
But they got the big jumbotron.
Yeah, I mean, there's some tickets here. Section 530, row 8 for $160.
Why don't you sit downstairs for $759?
I could sit right behind
the
bench for $2,000.
Yeah. Get that for Erin.
Okay.
When's her birthday?
Her birthday is April 15th. So maybe this is a Christmas present.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's
it's right. It's December 8th. Idiot, Jim.
Hey, Aaron, I got his tickets for 3 weeks ago.
We're going
to go 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, we're going to the game in April.
No, we're going to the game 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
For $2,000, you guys better be able to participate when they do the tush push for $2,000.
You're not kidding.
Oh, yeah, you better put me in, coach.
All right, Craig Mish, Sports Grid on the Marlins at the trade deadline as the Padres play the Marlins. You'll hear that conversation at 4:30. Later this hour, your chance to win Wiz Khalifa tickets. John Wilner will join the show. Wilner Hotline, Mercury News. He's live at Big Ten Media Days as college football season gets underway in about a month. John Wilner will join us coming up at 5:30. Here until 6, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Craig Mish covers the Marlins. You'll hear our conversation with him at 4:30. Trade deadline just over a week away. Many Marlins will be moved. Say that 3 times.
Many Marlins will be moved. Many Marlins will be moved. Many Marlins will be moved.
It's easier to say than fresh sushi with Max Scherzer shoulder
fresh
surgery.
Sushi, Max
Scherzer,
shoulder. Dude, that's impossible for me to say.
Fresh sushi, Max Scherzer shoulder surgery is Jim's worst nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That's impossible.
Just impossible. Is there going to be a moment in time where you just flat out apologize to Martin Maldonado? Just say, you know what? Everything I've said about you has been flat out wrong.
He's the greatest player ever, dude.
You're always on base. You are catching like baseball's best pitching staff. Do you have anything to say to Martin Maldonado, who has now doubled in 3 consecutive starts? Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Because he might listen back to the podcast. You have nothing.
I got nothing. I got nothing for Martin Maldonado. I still think he's incredibly lucky to be on this roster.
Well, he may not be lucky much longer. We'll see. He is currently here. We'll see if he makes it past the trade deadline. He might. He came into the day hitting 187. And clearly,
is that good?
I think Mike Schilt has said, I mean, they're prioritizing defense, but he's giving them offense right now, Jim. Great. All the doubles right now from Martin Maldonado. It feels like the catching conversation has quieted a little bit with the Padres, not because Maldonado was doubled in 3 consecutive games. It just feels like that conversation right now, when you hear about the Padres, it's Luis Robert, it's Jarren Duran. It's like, give me the catcher name that we've heard come up. But Sean Murphy, nobody's saying Sean Murphy's moving.
Trying to like talk that into existence.
But is anyone really saying Sean Murphy is moving? Outside of Sean Murphy, is there a name or two that's really popped up?
I haven't seen Sean Murphy's name from a legitimate insider be brought up at all. It's a lot of outfield, right-handed bats, DH types.
Right.
It's not, the Sean Murphy's a hot name on the market. Like when we talked to Kevin told us he hasn't heard Sean Murphy's name once.
Right. And then when I looked at Passan's 50 trade targets at the deadline, 0 of them were catchers. Doesn't mean a catcher isn't going to move. And then we heard John Heyman actually earlier today is like, catching market's soft. Where there's not a lot of additions that can be made at catcher. Now, I'm sure there are. I haven't looked at all the rosters of teams that are out of it. I'm sure there's an upgrade. They're getting what, 600 OPS maybe combined out of their catchers. So I'm sure there's an upgrade to be made. But a big upgrade, that's the other thing if you're Preller. If you can go from a platoon with 600 OPS guys to like go get a guy that's got like a 660 OPS, is that worth making a move to get marginal upgrading offensively?
And I've said this all along. They can win with a guy hitting 185 with a 550 OPS the bottom of your lineup.
Yeah, one guy.
Because I watch random baseball highlights on YouTube sometimes at night of like past World Series. Okay. I know, it's very weird. The National League didn't have the DH here up until, a handful of years ago. And right? They had the pitcher hit all the time in the lineup. And Martin Maldonado is just like a pitcher with a little better. My point is those lineups had a pitcher in it and National League teams still won World Series.
Yeah. You know the difference though? The National League teams played National League teams.
Yeah.
Now the National League team that you're playing doesn't have a pitcher.
But I get it. I'm just trying to say you can win.
You can win with no production out of one position, obviously.
Yeah. So instead of having 2 guys that are giving you 0,
right?
You only had 1 guy that's giving you 0.
That's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade.
Yeah, I think they can win with their. I mean, this is crazy to say, and maybe they'll make an upgrade. But if they can upgrade the rest of their lineup and have your black hole being one of your 9 spots, and if it is truly catcher, I think you can still get by. It's when some other player goes into a 2-month funk is when you get into trouble. If it's the DH spot, or forget the DH spot. If it's Jackson Merrill or Fernando Tatis Jr., it's like, if you're going to have a black hole, you better get production out of the other 8 guys.
Yeah.
So,
and the guys that you're paying big money to better produce.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Xander Bogaerts' recent hot stretch is so crucial and important, and it's been so impactful.
Yeah.
Because if Xander was still hitting 220 with a 620 OPS, like I mean, a team that can't score runs already, adding that, it's like, dude, it'd be worse.
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. So, yeah. So if they get the production, the Merrills, the Tatises, the Bogarts, but again, it's a big if too. I mean, are we really going to see a 30-game stretch where Bogarts, Merrill, and Tatis are all hitting? I don't know.
I don't know either. It's much easier said than done. We've gone full seasons where we have not seen the team click in all cylinders before.
Yep.
And we've seen moments like last year where they all clicked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you can't bank on it. I can tell you that. You can't just say, oh, when all these guys get hot. Sometimes that doesn't happen in a season.
True. Yeah.
You can't bank on that. You can't bank on all these guys just getting hot at the same time and then everything's magically fixed offensively.
Yeah, you're right. You can't. You really can't. All right. This hour, we have a 4-pack of tickets to see Wiz Khalifa. That'll be coming up Friday, August 8th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and information, livenation.com. Next hour, we've got a 4-pack of tickets to see Creed. That's coming up August 6th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. And again, next time you hear that goal call, make sure to open up the app and search for 760 and click the talkback mic. And if you tell us your favorite SDFC player, you're eligible to win a pair of tickets to see SDFC Nashville SC coming up Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. If you missed our conversation with Craig Mish, it's an insightful one. He's covered the Marlins for a long time. We're going to talk about some of their trade candidates, including Sandy Alcantara and their starting pitcher tonight, Edward Cabrera, Jesus Sanchez, and more. So Craig Mish on the other side from Sports Grid. And then coming up at 5:30, John Wilner, Mercury News. He will join the show live from Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. But Craig Mish on the other side. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Lowe's. Marlins and Padres underway in Miami. Marlins have a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the third inning. And NFL news of the day, Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin, camp's underway. He is not at camp. He is holding out for a new contract. Lowe's knows saving big on appliances make a big difference. Get up to 30% off select major appliances and get delivery as soon as next day, valid through 7:30. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Exclusions do apply. See lowes.com/delivery for more details.
All right, John Wilner will join us live at 5:30. Bay Area News Group, Wilner Hotline, great voice in all things college athletics in the West. He's live at Big Ten Media Days, which are in the West, believe it or not. The Big Ten are in Vegas. He'll join us coming up at 5:30. A chance to win Wiz Khalifa tickets coming up in about 15 minutes during our Trainwreck Radio trivia segment. But if you missed Craig Mish earlier, longtime reporter covering the Marlins, we had him on. We started the conversation by asking which Marlins are most likely to be moved between now and the deadline.
You know, it's actually been a little bit more of an interesting year than I think that any of us could have anticipated, because the team, while, you know, realistically speaking, if you look at some of, fan graphs and some of the other metrics, they grade very low as far as potentially making the playoffs. In fact, to the point where I think you got to be realistic with their chances. But that being said, they've been very competitive, even in the games they're losing, like you saw last night, very competitive. So I wouldn't say that that's completely changed their thought process here with the deadline next week. But I do think that maybe some players who have control for several years may not just be traded to sort of what we call kick the can in baseball down, 4 or 6 years down the line. So, to answer your question directly, I think there's a chance one of their starting pitchers are moved. I don't know if it's going to be Sandy Alcantara or Edward Cabrera. I think 50-50 on both of those. They also have an expiring contract on a pitcher, Cal Quantrill, who you guys are obviously familiar with. Not really sure what the return would be for a guy like that, but I do think that he is on the trade block as well. And then they have an outfielder, Jesus Sanchez, who is really strong against right-handed pitching, but he would be, I believe, more of a platoon player with any postseason contender. And then maybe some surprises along the way, guys. We'll see.
Kyle Stowers, hometown kid here from El Cajon here in San Diego. He's having a fantastic year for the Marlins. All-star, home run yesterday. I know they've come out and said that he is not going to be traded. But, looking down the line here, do you expect him to get maybe a long-term contract there, or maybe in the future, if something doesn't turn around in the organization, could Kyle Stowers be moved eventually for the Marlins?
Well, it was me who reported that he won't be traded, so it depends on if you trust me or not.
I trust you. I trust you.
If you don't trust me, maybe he's traded next Friday or Thursday. So, look, I think that I think maybe he could have been moved, guys. I think if he was just having a standard year, maybe playing a little bit above his skis, I think anything is in play for a team that isn't potentially contending. But he has played so far above what I believe even their expectations were, that I think that you have to take a second look at him and say, hey, is this maybe a player that we can build around? As far as a cornerstone piece, I'm not sure, because look, it's been 5 months or 4 months and we haven't seen this at basically any level. There's no question, though, at this point, he will be with the team through the All-Star break. My guess is, of course, he'll be with the team next year as well, and they'll try and fill in pieces in between. But very rare, guys, for the Marlins to have an offensive weapon that every night has the potential to hit 400 feet. It's basically been since that Stanton, Ozuna, Yelich days that you thought that every night you can get a guy to hit a home run.
Impressive last night. Nearly took 2 balls out last night. Did homer, the only run for the Marlins in that Padres 2-1 win. Craig Mish with us. He covers the Marlins in South Florida. What is the ask here on Sandy Alcantara, who's got the Cy Young, but coming off Tommy John? Obviously, the year speaks for itself just in terms of sheer numbers. I know he's under control as well next year. So what are they going to be able to get if he does, in fact, move?
That's impossible for me to answer, because I don't know the landscape as to what you would be looking at for a pitcher that you may not have confidence can turn it around this year. It would honestly, guys, I think it would be with a team that may win this year or may not, but potentially seizing the opportunity that they see something that could harness what he's done in the past. Because Look, I've known Sandy longer than maybe just about anybody in the media. I'm going on, 9 years with him with the Cardinals. This is the first time ever that I've seen him pitch that I just can't seem to figure out what's going on. And so I'm not even sure that he knows. So I've seen this in the past with players where change of scenery, new eyes, new ears, new voice, and, new metrics can sort of fix somebody. I have all the confidence that this guy is going to get back to who he was. But guys, how can I tell you that if any team was to make a trade for him right now, that he immediately would go back to being the guy he was? That's the risk that you're taking. So to me, it's more of a future deal than it is a present.
Yeah, just to Cy Young a couple years ago, and this year, his numbers, they're not good. When you watch him, what are things that he's doing that you talked about? Like, you've never seen him pitch like this before in your life. Like, what are some things that you're seeing from him that are just uncharacteristic of a Sandy Alcantara?
Without a doubt, less confidence. I still do think he's attacking the zone, but I don't think that he has the same confidence in some of his pitches. I've seen him change his arsenal now a couple different times, using some pitches more than others. After the first few starts of the season, they went away from him using the pitch comm. Then there was something, guys, where something I had heard is that it was the pitch clock, where he was releasing the ball too quickly on the pitch clock, releasing it at 16, 17, as opposed to, taking that deep breath in and releasing it at 3 or 4. Honestly, I haven't seen anything that's been definitive. And given the fact that the best coaching that I have in pitching is watching my son and telling him what to do at he's 12, or 13 now, I can't really tell you what the deal is. It's going to have to come from somebody smarter than me.
Craig Mish with us right now. He covers the Marlins Padres. Marlins game 2 coming up in about an hour or so. It'll be Edward Cabrera, who seemingly, just looking at some of the numbers, Craig, and you know better than I do, but it looks like he's just kind of put it all together now. In his age 27 season, has put together a productive year. I know he's controllable as well, arbitration eligible guy, but controllable for multiple years. Maybe among all the players we've discussed, he could have the highest return for the Marlins, right? Based on the way he's pitching.
Yeah, I think so. It would have to be a team that believes in him. The one thing that I've learned, guys, in covering the game that I find the most fascinating in speaking to other organizations and GMs and scouts is they all know the players. You would think, that's like funny, but no, they really do. The advanced scouting in Major League Baseball, I think, is better than in any sport, NBA, NFL, NHL. And so they all know, guys, the player that Cabrera was before this year. So again, you're taking a little bit of a risk. Is this the guy, or is it potentially the guy that we've seen in the past? Now, I would tell you that he doesn't look like the guy that we've seen in the past. This does look like he has put it all together. The other thing that would be a little bit of a cautionary deal here is he did leave a start last week with a little bit of forearm issue. He'll start tonight against the Padres. So if he's able to get through this start and he looks like the good Cabrera that we've seen this season, you're probably right. I would put the probability as the highest of him being dealt and the Marlins cash in now.
What's your take on the Padres from afar? I know you don't watch them every day, but as we get closer to the deadline, we all know AJ Preller is a psychopath when it comes to trade deadline acquisitions. But what's your take on them overall this year?
My take on them is, kind of the same as the Dodgers and some of these teams that have reinvented how to win games. You saw it last night, and I think you're going to continue to see it. Finding these guys who are all throwing different looks at you out of the bullpen, going out and getting bullpen pieces to throw the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. One guy throws 100. One guy's Jason Adam. I think you're going to see the Dodgers attack that at the trade deadline. Guys, you're giving up too much for start pitching in this league, whether it's prospects or it's money. And I think that both general managers and owners are tired of doing it. They're tired of giving pitchers crazy money to pitch in the big leagues when they end up getting hurt in game 3 or game 5 of the season. But these bullpen arms are cheap and they do the job quick. And by the way, I hate to say it, if they don't, they just find somebody else. So that to me is what I see with the Padres. Keep the game close, turn it over to these guys that can do a lot of different things for you and get it to the 9th with Suarez. And I think that, the Padres will be successful with that. The Giants, guys, they went the opposite route on it. And initially that looked really good. And now look at them now. It's falling apart. So look, I think San Diego will be there in the end. The other team that I do like a lot, even though I think they may end up being sellers, they have to decide, will be the Diamondbacks. To me, I like the Diamondbacks more than I like the Giants. So I do wonder if they get on a little run here with a week before what they decide to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with a player like Eugenio Suarez, who's just on a complete tear right now in Arizona. Craig, always appreciate your insight. Really great for our listeners here in San Diego as the Padres get ready for the Marlins tonight. And of course, Padres fans preparing for the upcoming trade deadline as well. But we appreciate you taking time, and we'll do it again soon. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Craig Mish, again, covers the Marlins in South Florida, has been doing it for a long, long time. That was from about an hour or so ago. Marlins and Padres are well underway. They're in the fourth inning right now. The Marlins leading the Padres 2-1. I'm trying to remember how they got on the board, the Padres. Luis Ariz.
And Martin Maldonado.
Martin Maldonado. That's right. A Maldonado double. Later, a Luis Ariz single. It was 2-0 Marlins. Stephen Kolek is still out there. A couple of first inning runs. He's been effective since in game 2 of this 3-game series. We have a great giveaway for you, Jim, on the other side. Really more for our listeners. We have a 4-pack of tickets to see Wiz Khalifa coming up. This will be on Friday, August 8th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and information at livenation.com. Free 4-pack of tickets. This is a great giveaway. If you want that free 4-pack of tickets to a Friday night show to see Wiz Khalifa in San Diego, you need to call right now. Here's the number to call: 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. A great giveaway. 4-pack of tickets to see Wiz Khalifa coming up Friday, August 8th, right here in San Diego at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you want those free tickets, a 4-pack of free tickets, call right now, 877-767-4760. We've got great giveaways for you between now and 6 p.m. We have John Wilner joining the show as well at 5:30. Dave Velasquez, Aztec men's basketball assistant. If you missed him, you'll hear that coming up at 5 p.m. But call right now if you want that 4-pack of tickets to see Wiz Khalifa, 877-767-4760. That's next on Jon and Jim. All right, John Wilner will join us from Big Ten Media Days. We'll talk, though, Pac-12, Mountain West, Pac-12 expansion, and more with John Wilner, who covers it all in the West for college athletic fans. He'll join us at 5:30. If you missed Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant, you'll hear a conversation coming up at 5 p.m. as the Aztecs men's basketball team has begun practicing for the upcoming season. We'll get to Trainwreck Radio momentarily. The update is there isn't one in South Florida where the Marlins are leading the Padres right now in the 5th inning, 2-1. That's your update, Jim.
Another low-scoring game. Padres offense continuing to be the biggest question mark issue with this club.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. All right, we'll keep you updated, but right now let's get to this.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Tommy and we have Juan. Tommy, you called in first. So you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Give me John, please.
All right, Tommy, you get John. That means Juan, you get Jim, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, we touched on it earlier. The Chargers are opening up camp today at USD. Today's question, can you name these 6 quarterbacks in Chargers history that have thrown for 10,000 or more career yards? So we're looking for the 6 quarterbacks that have at least 10,000 or more career passing yards with the franchise.
All right. Juan, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Felipe Rios.
Philip Rivers.
Is he on the list?
He is on the list.
Okay.
Tommy, you're up next. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
How about Dan Fouts?
Dan Fouts. There you go.
Top 2 off the board.
Juan, you're up next. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Ooh, how about we take the old ball coach, Jim Harbaugh?
Jim Harbaugh. No.
That's a lot of passing.
Would not have been my next guess. Tommy, you're up. What's your second guess?
He's 10th.
Do you have a lifeline if you want to use it?
I don't know if this guy was a Charger, but in the recesses of my brain, I think he was. Sid Luckman.
Sid Luckman.
Sid Luckman. Is he on the list?
He was a Bear.
Yeah.
Juan, you're up. Your third and final guess. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. I got a layup for you if you want it.
Yeah, let's take that lifeline.
Oh, man, I'm just thinking about it now. I hope I'm right. Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, you take that?
Let's roll.
Yeah, come on, Justin Herbert. Tommy, this is to send this thing into overtime. You're going to need a correct answer here. You also have a lifeline if you want to use it. John's raring to go.
I got a 2-point shot.
Oh, 2-point shot? A layup or a 2-point shot? Like
an 8-foot jumper.
Mid-range?
All right, John, lay it on me.
Okay, this is a mid-range from Kawhi. And it would be Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah. You take that?
Yeah, gosh, he left in a hurry, but I picked John for a reason, so let's go with it.
Mr. Charger myself, Drew Brees on the list.
Yeah, he's wearing his jersey under his 20 Pints t-shirt right now. All right, so we're going to overtime. Brent, give us the rules of overtime and then the question of overtime.
There was only 6 and we didn't name all of them, so I was just kind of wondering.
Okay, yeah.
All right, how overtime is going to work is I'm going to give you a different question, and once I'm done asking the question, you are going to yell out the name of your partner today. Don't yell out the answer. Whoever yells out the name of their partner first, you are going to either win the game by getting the question right, or you're going to lose the game by getting the question wrong. Do you guys understand?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, today's overtime question. What is the stadium the Chargers play football in?
Yeah, John.
Oh, I heard John.
All right, Tommy, what do you got?
SoFi Stadium.
That is correct for the win. SoFi Stadium is the correct answer. And Tommy is going to see Wiz Khalifa coming up on August 8th.
Black and yellow.
Right, where the Steelers will be also playing potentially. This will be at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater Friday, August 8th. Tickets and info at livenation.com.
Oh, it's a Wiz.
It's about the Steelers.
I know, but it's a Wiz Khalifa song.
That's why I said it.
See You Again. Have you heard that song?
Black and yellow. Yeah, that's why I said Steelers.
Oh.
That's what it's about, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty sure. Has to be. Hold on. He's from Pittsburgh, yes. All right. Who else is on this list?
The only person that they didn't get was John Hadel.
John Hadel.
Yeah, John Hadel.
60s, 70s, somewhere in there.
62 through 72.
All right. All right. Congratulations.
He's third on the list.
You're going to go see Wiz Khalifa with Dom Kennedy and more. Coming up, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, Friday, August 8th. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Jim mentioned an interesting point about the Padres offense. Remember, this weekend, 8 runs, 1 game against the Nationals, 7 runs, another game against the Nationals. So that was good.
Yeah.
The loss, they scored twice. All right. Well, they took 2 out of 3. Yesterday, in a win, they scored twice. Tonight, through 5 innings, they've only scored 1 time. So it's going to be, with an offense that struggles, it's going to be easy to find offense of a struggling. Like, it's going to be easy to find evidence of the struggles. They're not going to score 7 and 8 runs every game, especially against good pitching in a good pitching ballpark like Miami. But I'm with you. I mean, 2 runs yesterday, 1 run today. It's kind of back to some of the conversation we've had for a lot of the year.
Hey, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh,
do you want to show up or not?
You're calling Toddy out?
I mean, come on, man.
Mr. On-base leader for the Padres?
I showed you a video during the break. Now, granted, this was back in 2020. Remember when they hit the grand slam in Texas? And
so a video from 5 years and 1 month ago.
Dude, right? His bat speed and the sound that the ball made off his bat.
Well, there was nobody in the crowd, but yeah.
But you get what I'm going at here is that, like, where that guy's gone. His last 30 games, John, he's slugging 352. Oh, there's a great on-base percentage. He's a power hitter.
But I was looking up, like, his bat speed. His bat speed, you know his bat speed right now?
Oh, well, we got
it's not great.
Is it?
Not 73rd percentile.
What was it in 2020?
How do I find that?
You can click on it.
I know. Where is it?
Hit the
this right here?
Yeah, hit that button.
right there?
Yeah, that button. It'll show you.
Yeah, I see it. That's 2019.
Yeah, 2020.
Where is it? Hold on.
Did they show it in 2020?
No, not bat speed. You didn't get bat speed until later. Well, 2023 was 66th percentile.
Yeah, but that was
then it was 86th percentile last year, and now went.
Well, 2023 was post surgery and
that was
PED
his
suspension.
That was his lowest.
Yeah, but I mean, his 2020 numbers, I saw them right there.
They were good.
They're ridiculous, dude.
I'm
now getting
looking.
60 games, but like,
dude, 2020 he was amazing.
And then 2019,
dude, 100th percentile of hard hit percentage, barrel percentage, and average exit velocity.
Look at 2019.
It was good too. Look at 2021.
2021.
All 100 percentile. Then 2020. I mean, this is the point we've repeatedly made. Look at Tatis from 2019 to 2021. Look at Tatis since. It's not that he hasn't been good, but he is not the same player as he was the first 3 years.
Yep. And that's the point we make. It's not, you're 100% right. We're not saying Tatis isn't a good player. He's a good player. But we all have this vision of what Tatis was in our heads because we've watched him his entire career.
Right.
And we're sitting here wondering, where is that guy? Where is he? He's because he clearly he's in Miami, but he's not the same player. And he's not 35 years old. He's 26.
Right.
He should be getting better offensively, not worse. And he's gotten worse.
I love this game, by the way, like watching his career through Baseball Savant, like 19 to 20, 20 to 21, and so on and so forth. There's some really interesting things in here that I would need more time to like dissect. But there's a lot in here that's changed. So, now, and again, to your point, it's only 26. Like you wouldn't really expect some things like sprint speed to change dramatically for a 26-year-old, right? Yet at one point he was like 99th percentile in sprint speed. Last year he was in the 70s.
Well, he wasn't allowed to run.
Well, he had a broken leg.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was 99th percentile at one point in his career. So that's the one thing with Tatis too. He's been so hurt for a 26-year-old. Mm-hmm. He's injured everything. Back, shoulder, leg.
Head, shoulder, knees and toes,
and
toes. Everything's been hurt.
Everything. So it's like, well, he's only 26. Yeah, but he's like a 46-year-old with the injuries.
He had the back and the groin, the wrist and the shoulder, the leg last year.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot.
Everything, dude.
For someone in their 20s, dude, your 20s.
Yeah.
I felt half decent when I woke up in my 20s.
I know.
All right. Anyway, Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. If you missed it earlier, he joined us. The Aztecs are practicing for the upcoming season. The expectations as high as ever. On the Mace at 5:30, John Wilner joins us live from Vegas. Big Ten football media days with more reaction to everything playing out between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, Pac-12 expansion, and more. John Wilner will join us coming up at 5:30. We have SDFC tickets we're giving away. Final hour of Jon and Jim kicks off next right here on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres Marlins, 6th inning right now. Marlins lead the Padres 2-1. Padres are threatening runners on the corners with just 1 out. Xander Bogaerts at the plate. And NFL news of the day, Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin, who wants a new contract, is holding out. He is not at camp for the Commanders. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
I mean this in the nicest way possible. AJ Preller is an absolute psychopath. He is in on everybody.
Yeah, I like it that way.
I do too. Give me more. Give me more rumors. Give me more trade possibilities. Give me it all.
We had read earlier, maybe from Ken Rosenthal a week ago, that it appeared as if the White Sox were willing to pay down all of Robert. And he's like, well, Robert's playing better, so you might get some pay down for 2025.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. Remember, we're announcing those grand prize winners of SDFC tickets coming up at 5:30. Is there still another chance to qualify and win those tickets? Last chance to qualify and win. Open the iHeart app. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Leave us a talk back with your favorite SDFC player. You have 5 minutes from right now to do that. If you just do that, you're eligible to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC take on Nashville SC Friday night, Snapdragon Stadium. While you're in the app, put San Diego Sports 760 as your number one.
Yeah, if you have not been to a match this year, now's the perfect time to get some free tickets. So go to the iHeartRadio app, hit the little talkback, red talkback mic. I can't even say.
You really can't. Try it again.
Red talkback mic.
That was good.
The red talkback mic.
You have 4 minutes to do that.
The red talkback mic.
Tell us your favorite SDFC player. You're eligible to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC this Friday night. We'll announce the winner coming up at 5:30. John Wilner joins us live from Las Vegas. Great resource for college athletic. Why am I saying that? With college football fans, just college fans of college.
He's your favorite.
College sports.
We can't speak right now.
Well, we never can.
So that's what happens when you have a 4-hour show. Hour 4 is always the loopy hour.
Those first 3 hours, we were humming.
Man, they go by quickly. And then you get to hour 4 and it was like, I don't know how to speak.
Same with the other 3 hours.
That's true.
John Wilner at 5:30. But if you missed longtime Aztec assistant Dave Velasquez earlier, we started the conversation by asking about how the first couple of weeks of practice have gone getting ready for the upcoming year.
It's been great. And I want, first of all, appreciate you having me on. But our guys have came back. They all came back in really good shape. This is our first time being as a team. It's not the first time we've seen them all summer, obviously. First time being on the floor together as a team. And it's amazing how much faster, how much more smooth things can be ran from a practice standpoint when you have so many returning guys. That's what coaches look for. You can move faster through getting the habits back, getting the fundamentals right, and then where you can move on and really get to the kind of the meat and potatoes of what we do and the foundation of what San Diego State basketball is. And we've had our new guys have picked up this stuff very quickly due to the fact that most of the returners, if not all of them, have really been out there for those reps over the past, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it might be. So it's been good. It's been great so far. And we're hoping that we can continue to stay healthy as much as we can as we move forward through the summer.
What's the feeling like knowing you have so many players from last year's team returning this year?
That's always a hard question because you need the guys that are returning to make their own individual jumps, from whether it's freshman to sophomore to junior, or, let's use Miles Bird as an example. Last year was the first year he was a guy that, he went from being 6th, 7th on a scouting report to number 1 at times, and he's going to have to adjust, and he was making adjustments throughout the year. And now he's got to be ready to go, understand those adjustments he had to make and be better than even he was last year. So, and that's from top to bottom from all our guys. And it's from, there's some guys that came off the bench last year that are hungry to try to earn a starting position this year and earn more responsibility and time on that floor. So it's been it's been fun to see their hunger because of what you're asking about, which is what is the ceiling. Obviously, we're incredibly optimistic with the team we have, the talent we have, the length we have on the floor, and honestly, the experience of having so many guys back and new guys.
Dave Velasquez, longtime successful San Diego State men's basketball assistant, with us right now. Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I know people have to ask you about this because you have so much depth, and it's still only the summer. But like, what would you say when you're asked, like, is this the deepest team in San Diego State men's basketball history, or will that play out over the next 6 or 8 months?
It will play out, and I do think that it will be a really big strength of ours, especially as you go through a season, and you're going to go, there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be times where guys go down with, hopefully all minor injuries, whether it's a rolled ankle, whether it's a shoulder issue, which we had last year a couple of times, where guys are going to be able to step up and be able to rely on that bench and that depth. And when they all are healthy, we're going to have some hard decisions to make as a coaching staff, and we're going to have to probably play more guys than we usually do, because the talent on this team is really deep, and it's deep at a lot of positions. And especially if, like I said, if healthy, right now we're continuing to get Magoon Guaf back and get him ready to go. And then, Reese Waters is, we're being very cautious with his development. He looks great, but we're still holding out on some of the live stuff as much as we go through this summer. So, and that has nothing to do with his foot. It's just kind of just making sure that Reese is going to be ready to go when the time matters the most, which is, it's not in July. You don't win a conference championship in July. It's helpful. It's a great part of your foundation of how to get there, to get to the end goal, but you don't do it in July. You do that as the season approaches.
Yeah. How is Magoon looking? How is he progressing? And word is he's put on a little bit of muscle this offseason so far.
He's almost, not from last year, but from the time he walked on campus, he's almost unrecognizable in terms of his strength and how he looks. I mean, John saw him today. He's, it's not just 20 pounds of just, eating, it's like the kid, he's really bulked up, and just even his legs and his strength in his legs as he's continuing to work on his quads and his hamstrings and just everything about him. He's just continuing to develop exactly how you'd want a young man to develop through our program, continuing to eat better, eat right, get a great sleep, and then put his time in the weight room. He's been awesome so far this summer in the weight room, and his ability to focus without being 100% healthy, with having the brace on that knee, but have a focus to wake up every day and continue to take care of the body his way he's had is, if you had to ask me, what would you want from Magoon back in April? I would say exactly what we've got now in July. He's done everything we've asked him to do with everything he's going through.
What did he weigh when he got here? Where was he and where is he now?
I don't want to throw out a number, but I will give an estimate. I would guess somewhere between 30 to 40 pounds lighter.
Wow. In 2 years.
Yeah. I would guess. I think that would probably be pretty accurate.
Yeah, 100%. Dave Velasquez with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I know it's early. It's only been a couple of weeks, but the freshmen, I think about the freshmen you've brought in over the last couple of years and how they've been ready to play immediately. Look at last year with Farrow and Taj DeGorville. This year, Tay Simmons and LZ Harrington. I think it's cliche, but it's true. They don't, quote unquote, look like freshmen. What have you seen in limited opportunity so far for Tay and LZ?
Well, the number that I've seen out of them is, one is they come with a really good background of basketball fundamentals. They've both been really well coached in high school. You can tell that they can pick things up quickly. They understand what we're asking them to do. And then the other thing is they're really mature. I don't know how many follow that stuff on social media, but what Tay Simmons and LZ Harrington are is as mature a freshman group that you could ever be around. And that's on and off the floor. That's how they even approach the weight room, how they, they're two guys that, they're freshmen, and you look up and they're in the recovery tub after workouts. You don't see that. Usually you have to teach freshmen to do that. That's not even who they are. They're very much advanced in terms of how their approach is as freshmen. And it's been great to still, there's definitely times they still look like freshmen, compared to everyone else that's out there. But they're so talented. They're incredibly coachable, and the future is so bright for both of them.
Your two guys, Farrell Compton and Taj DeGorville, coming into this year, has their offseason looked, in your opinion, and early on so far? Are the expectations for them, I'm sure, are going to be raised to another level going into the year two for those guys?
Yeah, and again, they're two guys that last year when they got here at this time, it's the first time hearing any of our voices. It's the first time hearing the terminology we're using on the floor. Your talent's one thing, but to do what the coach are asking you to do what your teammates are asking you to do. Now they're doing that for LZ and Tay. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing. It's like everything you believe in about it, being a coach and making sure that the older guys teach the younger guys. We have that now, and Tay and LZ get to look, ask Farrell and Todd's questions. What the coach mean? Like they can speak in their own kind of terms together of knowing what we want out of them. And, they've really done a good job on that part of the game. And the other thing they've done is just their bodies just look different. Our fans are going to say the same thing. I mean, I think, John, you said it to me today. I mean, Farrell just looks different. Taj looks different. They look older. They look more mature. They look more physically ready to continue to contribute. Like you said, they contributed a lot last year as freshmen. Yeah. Too, in the past few years. I mean, that's as much as any freshman's contributing a long time, but what those two guys were able to do last year.
Final one from me. I think we touched on this with you when we talked about Miles Byrd, maybe when he announced he was returning to the Mesa, but you were with him throughout the process in Chicago, the Combine. What is this offseason and the experiences he went through in Los Angeles during the training, in Chicago with the Combine? What impact will that have on him as he enters his redshirt junior fourth year on the Mesa?
I think it's just a very a focus that he needs, which is to continue to work on his body, continue to put on weight. Incredibly proud of him for coming out and publicly going about his battle with diabetes and how hard it is for him as an athlete and a high level athlete with the things he has to go through. And I think that's actually an important piece for him mentally to get over, where, people, he doesn't have to run to the back to handle that at times. And then the second thing is, to just be more consistent, and I think so for him as a coach, you want that for all your guys, work on your body and be more consistent, and I think that for Miles, it kind of just, it simplified things where sometimes they go to these combine things and one guy's telling them, I need to see this out of you. Another scout or NBA team saying, we really want to see it. For Miles, it was very consistent across the board. We want to see you shoot the three-point shot better and more consistent. Your numbers got to grow. And the second thing is your body's got to be more NBA ready. And I feel like those two things are things that, of course, we're going to want for him and he's going to want for himself as we move forward.
Shot it well at the Combine in Chicago. I'll tell you that. Watched those 2 days, shot the ball well, distributed well, impacted the game at both ends, which is something Aztec fans have seen for a long time on the Mesa. And everyone's looking forward to this upcoming year, which will get underway the first week of November. Dave, thank you. Great seeing you earlier today. We'll see you at the Jam later on this summer and appreciate you hopping on.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, that's where we lost Dave. We had him on earlier. Just has done an amazing job over the years on staff. For Brian Dutcher, Steve Fisher, Dave Velasquez with us here on Jon and Jim. All right, John Wilner will join us from Las Vegas. Do you know what the talking point today in Vegas has been during Big Ten Media Days, Jim?
Football.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, football has been the talking point. I'll tell you the other talking point on the other side. Plus, John Wilner will join us live at 5:30. Jim's back page is still ahead as well. We'll have the updates from South Florida where the Marlins have added on. They now lead the Padres 3-1 in the sixth inning.
Where's your update?
Game 2 of a 3-game series, and the Marlins aren't done. They've loaded the bases in the sixth inning with two outs.
Just do play-by-play.
I'm going to. It was a breaking ball in.
Perfect. All right.
They caught a right-handed batter right in the midsection.
John Wilner coming up next on Jon and Jim.
No, he's not coming up next. He's going to join us at 5:30.
I know, but later in the show.
Jon
coming up
Jim,
next.
San Diego
in the
Sports
show.
760 live on the iHeartRadio app. At 7:60, excited to announce our partners at Global Citizen just revealed the lineup for the 2025 Global Citizen Festival, returning to Central Park September 27th. This year's event, headlined by The Weeknd and Shakira, hosted by Hugh Jackman. The festival will rally action to bring energy access to 1 million people across Africa, protect 30 million, is that hectares of the Amazon rainforest? What is that word? Why would I ask Jim that question? Seriously. Look at that word. Put that into Google. Is it hectares or hectares? Type it Hectares. Is that spelled right?
Well, John.
Well, hold on.
A hectare is a metric unit of square measure equal to 100 acres.
Yeah, I don't see that every day, that word.
Hectare.
You?
Hectare.
You see that word?
No, John, I don't.
Okay, good. Provide education for 30,000 children around the globe. Tickets free. You just have to take action to earn them. Download the Global Citizen app or visit globalcitizenfestival.com to get started. All of us at iHeartRadio are proud to support Global Citizen as the exclusive U.S. audio partner. And I learned what the word hectare means.
The more you know.
The more you know. John Wilner will join us coming up at 5:30. Yesterday, we learned that Memphis is not going to the Big 12. So ask John Wilner what comes next for Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Big 10 Media Days.
I like how Vegas now has just turned into the media college football capital of the world.
Right. Like you're thinking Big 10. Like, why would they be in Las Vegas? But they do have UCLA and USC.
Now, the SEC does it where?
I think it was in Atlanta.
Atlanta. It's always in Atlanta.
It's always clearly in
or like Atlanta, they have the SEC title game in Atlanta.
Right, exactly. But you're right. I mean, the Big 10 in Vegas, but when you add USC, when you add Oregon.
So you'll have the Big 10, I'm assuming the new Pac-12, because the old Pac-12 was in Vegas.
Mountain West.
The Mountain West. Any other conferences in Vegas?
Big 12 was there this year.
That's right. The Big 12 was there.
Yep. Some of the conference tournaments coming up, basketball will be in Las Vegas, including the Big 10.
Everything's in Vegas.
Everything is in Vegas.
Even though it's incredibly overpriced, but to go.
And hot.
It's ridiculously hot. Everything there costs way too much money.
Dude, 10 years ago, no NHL.
No
NCAA. Everything was prohibited because of betting, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing. No NCAA tournament games. None of that was going on. Now, NFL, NHL, NCAA, everything. Major League Baseball coming in 3 years. Every media day, every conference tournament, every conference championship.
Maybe game. NBA soon.
Great point. Maybe NBA. Wasn't it the Phoenix Suns owner? There was that might have been 7 years ago, but
I don't remember, but
there was some story I saw about if I don't get what I want, I'm going to Vegas.
No, that was like a couple. Now he's threatening to go to Seattle or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that was just the other day.
But you're right. We can't be that far away from Las Vegas having the NBA.
No, it's crazy because, I mean, we were in Vegas over the week last week.
Yeah.
And I was there and over the week and the weekend. And I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get how Vegas turned into that.
Really get it either. I mean, obviously the gambling capital of the world, but I don't know how it all of a sudden turned into this sports epicenter. Yeah. It's worked. I mean, the Golden Knights are among the more successful NHL teams. The Raiders certainly have been successful in that new stadium.
Vegas, to me, has just turned into incredibly overpriced, way too hot. It's just a cesspool. I like staying away from the Strip. That's why I love Circa.
Right.
But Fremont Street's a experience.
It is. I think it's actually called the Fremont Street experience.
Yeah.
But so are you anti? Are you now telling me you're kind of anti?
I'm not anti-Vegas, but I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to go to Vegas. I need a legit reason to go.
Which again is what Las Vegas provides a lot of people.
Just shows, and concerts,
hotels, sports. Yeah. That's the thing. You're right. I don't think a lot of people go to Las Vegas without a true reason. I don't think you just go and say, I'm going to spend the week at this hotel and I'm just going to lounge by the pool. I'm sure there are people, but people go for the concerts, the entertainment, the sports.
Here's the thing. When the Super Bowl was in Vegas a couple years ago, yes, I know the Niners lost the game. In overtime, I get it.
They did? Okay.
There was a 0% chance that any average person could have bought a ticket to that game.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with Vegas.
WrestleMania in Vegas, good freaking luck.
But isn't that just WrestleMania and the Super Bowl? Couldn't you hold it in Poughkeepsie, New York, and it's expensive?
Not as expensive as it is in Vegas.
Super Bowl?
WrestleMania.
Gotcha. Well, same thing. Are we talking about what's coming to San Diego being an expensive ticket for WWE?
Tickets have gone up.
Right.
I checked the other day. The tickets that were $150 are now up to $200.
Should have got in. Now you're over it?
I'm not over it. I just
You don't have to go. You can watch on TV. It's HD, 4K, different angles.
Right.
Storylines.
And the problem is, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be in San Diego that weekend.
When is it?
Thanksgiving weekend.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So I can't commit to something when I don't even know if I'm going to be here.
That's a problem. I wouldn't commit to it if you're not going to be here.
Because we've been talking about going up north to my mom's house.
No, that makes sense.
And if I bought tickets, that's out the window. Because that's $400 down the drain.
Is it like day before, day after that
That's
weekend?
Saturday.
That's Saturday.
So Thanksgiving's on Friday. There's no way I'm going up north for 2 days.
Thanksgiving's Thursday.
Yeah, it said Thursday, Thanksgiving, and I'm just no way I'm going up north for 2 days on Thursday, Friday, and returning home Saturday for SummerSlam, or not SummerSlam.
What is it?
Survivor Series.
John Wilner from Vegas.
Yes.
Big Ten Media Days with much more on the Pac-12 and the Mountain West and Memphis and Pac-12 expansion and the college football playoff and more. John Wilner from Las Vegas. Big Ten Football Media Days underway. He'll join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Buttrell Real Estate Team. Marlins and Padres in Miami, bottom 7. Marlins lead the Padres 3-1. We'll keep an update on that game for the rest of the show. An NFL news of the day: wide receiver for the Commanders, Terry McLaurin, is a no-show at camp. He is holding out for a new contract. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell is the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, let's get John Wilner in here. The Wilner Hotline, great resource for college sports fans, especially in the West. He's at Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. We'll react to all of that, John. We appreciate you taking time for us in San Diego. I want to start with more local, with what's playing out still with the Mountain West and the Pac-12. That they failed to reach a resolution when it came to mediation, as you've been reporting on. What comes next there? Is a resolution or settlement still a likely outcome, even though they haven't reached it as of yet?
I think it's still the most likely outcome. I think it was too early. Both sides decided it was a little bit too early to cave and agree to something you weren't fully comfortable with. So now it goes back to court, right? On September 9th, I believe it is, there is a hearing on the Mountain West's motion to dismiss. If the judge does not grant that motion and the case moves forward, then I think both sides are going to be more interested, especially the Mountain West, in potentially settling. So just because they didn't settle with a mediator doesn't mean they can't settle at a future date. I don't think either side wants it to go to trial. University presidents do not like court trials, but it's just, as someone told me, it's a little bit too early. You know, you want to see what cards the other side has before you agree to the settlement.
Looking forward here, do you think the new Pac-12 this year goes beyond 8 teams for the 2026 season, or do you think they're pretty much set right now?
For football, you know what? If I were going to bet, I would say the most likely scenario is that they're going to have 8 teams for football, right? 9 for basketball with Gonzaga added. I'm not sure that there's an easy 9th football team, as much as they might want to do it because it makes scheduling easier. There's just not an easy answer, right? You know, some might say Memphis or another school in the American, but that's financially, I don't know that that's going to work. So I would probably bet most likely is, they stand pat where they are at this point. Now they could add, I think it's more likely that they add for basketball than they add for football.
John Wilner, the Wilner Hotline, great resource for college sports fans with us right now on Jon and Jim. I'm glad you mentioned Memphis, because the story that's played out this week is about their unsuccessful bid, essentially, to join the Big 12 by offering, huge sums of money or working with some of their partners like FedEx and more. What do you think comes next for Memphis after their unsuccessful attempt to join the Big 12?
I think they're going to end up staying in the American. I mean, another option for them is to join the Pac-12 and put their Olympics for football and put their basketball and Olympic sports maybe in the Big East. But I don't know if the Big East wants them. I think they're going to end up staying where they are. Their football team is not a must-have if you're the Pac-12. It's a have if you can get it at the right price. And part of the problem is, the average school in the American gets about $7 or $8 million in media money every year. But the Americans got a deal where the longstanding members, including Memphis, get an above average payment. So Memphis actually takes home about 10, 11 million in media rights. And so the Pac-12 is going to have to offer them enough, not only to equal what they're getting, but then to offset the added travel costs. And I just don't think the Pac-12 is going to have enough money. Now, they could dip into their assets potentially, but I'm just not sure that Memphis offers the bang for the buck to make it worthwhile.
The media rights deal for the Pac-12 taking shape. Who could you see being, the remaining Pac-12 media partners?
Well, I think the CW is a real good bet. They've had the Pac-12 for these 2 years, right? The 2 years where Washington State and Oregon State are playing by themselves. CW has partnered with them in each season. CW's also got the ACC for football. So I would bet that the CW and then maybe ESPN or potentially Turner, the TNT, TBS, because they have lost the NBA. So Turner needs sports programming to replace the NBA. They have March Madness. So getting Pac-12 basketball would potentially be a nice complement to their March Madness portfolio.
John Wilner with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Let's turn our attention here to what's playing out nationally. You're at Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. That alone is a sign of the times. What is it? It's kind of amazing. Who would have ever thought? But here we are. Explain for our listeners, what is it about the Big Ten and the SEC not seeing eye to eye on an expanded college football playoff? It seems like cutting off your nose in spite of your face. An expanded playoff ultimately will benefit the SEC and the Big Ten. They'll have more teams in, but they may not expand because they're not seeing it the same way, right?
That's correct. They each have a different idea of the role of the selection committee and the number of at-large bids. And the Big Ten wants a format that has very few at-large bids. They want a 16-team playoff in which there are only 3 at-large bids and everything else is decided ahead of time. The SEC favors a 16-team format in which there are 11 at-large bids. Now, why the difference? Well, the SEC only plays 8 conference games. Big Ten plays 9. If you are relying on a selection committee to pick more than half of the field, selection committee could end up getting swayed by a team's 1-loss record, right? Mm-hmm. Boy, 9-3 looks a lot better than 8-4. 10-2 looks a lot better than 9-3. Well, the SEC has the advantage because that the fact that they play 1 fewer conference game means their teams on the whole are going to have better records because that the Big Ten is playing the 9th conference game and the SEC is playing a 4th cream puff. So the SEC records are going to look better. And if you're relying on a subjective committee, the Big Ten fears that the SEC will get the benefit of the doubt.
And looking forward here for, conferences like the new Pac-12, you envision that there's going to be this, automatic qualifier from the Pac-12 going forward here into the college football playoff, or how do you envision that playing out?
Well, the playoff, one of the few things that is a certainty in the playoff is that the 5 highest ranked conference champs are going to get in. So basically, that means that there's 1 automatic spot for the highest ranked team from the Pac-12, the Mountain West, the American, Sun Belt, MAC, Conference USA. So whether the Pac-12 champ is San Diego State, Boise State, Washington State, Oregon State, that team is going to be competing against the champion of the American and those other leagues for that 1 automatic bid. And that is a huge motivating factor for the new Pac-12 in terms of which schools it's adding, the type of schedule it's going to play. All of these strategic decisions are based on putting itself in the best position to get that playoff bid that goes to the highest ranked team from outside of the Power 4 conferences.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because, again, Boise, obviously coming off a college football playoff appearance, might be favored to do it again. And, of course, Boise among the schools heading to the Pac-12 in 2026. Switching to basketball, it felt as if there was momentum, even though people didn't necessarily want it, to expand this tournament from 68 teams to maybe 72 or 76 teams. Has that momentum slowed? Is it now unlikely that the men's and women's basketball tournaments will be expanding anytime soon?
Yeah, it's interesting that the expansion movement for both football and basketball has kind of stopped, but dissipated a little bit. The NCAA tournament is going to expand eventually to 76, I think, but it's unlikely that it'll be for this coming season. If they want to get that thing to 76 for next March, they have to decide in the next couple of weeks. And I don't think that they're close enough. One, there's a huge amount of public opposition, which they're sensitive to. And the other thing is the money, right? The big thing with the money is none of the schools or conferences if they're going to expand, they need the total pie, the revenue pie to expand. They don't want right now every unit is worth $350,000. They don't want the value of that unit to go down to $325,000 because they're adding schools, which means CBS and Turner need to throw in more money. So if they can get enough money to make everybody whole, adding 8 teams, they may do it, but I think it's unlikely for this coming season.
Final question, John, from me is just about the role Las Vegas is going to play in your mind for the future of the Pac-12. With or without UNLV, will the Pac-12's like tent pole events, Mountain West basketball, Pac-12 basketball, Pac-12 media days, potentially even Pac-12 football championship game, do you envision Las Vegas being like an anchor city for the Pac-12, even if it doesn't include UNLV?
Oh, I think there's no doubt about that. Now, will they put every basketball tournament and every football championship game here? That I don't know, but I would think that Las Vegas would be the most prominent site for those big events, right? I mean, it's still, a destination spot, whether it's the old Pac-12 or the new Pac-12. People want to come to Las Vegas, and they know that. And the bottom line to me is, like, the Pac-12 would love to have Las Vegas, I think, more than it wants to have UNLV, right? So they're going to continue to come back here. There's no doubt about that.
John, great reporting and insight. We appreciate it here in San Diego. Enjoy everything that Big Ten Media Days has to offer in Sin City, and we'll do it again soon. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks, John.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, great stuff from John Wilner. The Wilner Hotline. We'll react, plus Jim's back page, plus updates from Marlins Park, or what is it, Lone Depot Park in Miami, where the Padres and Marlins are playing. Plus, we've got the winner for SDFC tickets.
Yes.
And we'll share that with you on the other side. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim. Jim's back page coming up. Padres trailing 3-1 in the 8th and batting in Miami. All right, let's get to it. A drum roll for today's winner of 2 SDFC tickets for Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium.
Congratulations to Jeff from San Diego. You are going to SDFC's match on Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium.
You can listen to that here on San Diego Sports 760. Yes. You can watch the match at Snapdragon. SDFC Midweek Live is tomorrow. And if you aren't Jeff from San Diego, you have another chance to win a pair of tickets tomorrow right here on Jon and Jim.
It will be your last opportunity to win tickets, by the way.
For the week.
Correct.
Last chance for Friday's match will be tomorrow. So be with us at 2 p.m. where Kevin Acee will also join the show tomorrow. All right, let's get to it.
So the biggest story in the pop culture world today is the passing of Ozzy Osbourne at the age of 76.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not an Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not gonna say fan because I like his music, but I didn't like grow up being like, Ozzy Osbourne.
Sure.
Right. But Brent, you said that you're a big Ozzy Osbourne fan.
In our 20s, we went to Ozfest like almost every year.
Yeah.
Ozfest ruled.
So, yeah, kind of it's a sad day in the music world. We've had iHeartRadio put on a big push blast of some of Ozzy's, like if you want to listen to Ozzy Osbourne right now, go to the iHeartRadio app.
Right.
Just a music icon passing away today.
I watched the show
on MTV.
What was that called?
The Osbournes.
The Osbournes.
The Osbournes. Yeah.
That was entertaining. That was maybe towards the beginning of the reality TV era. It was closer to the beginning than we are now.
Like in the early 2000s.
Yeah. It was entertaining. It was a good show, but I'm with you. I wasn't really a listener of his music, but I certainly was a consumer of that show whenever it aired on MTV 20 years ago.
He was definitely a one of one.
Oh, one of one. Absolutely one of one.
One of one.
When you think about it, anyone that knows anything about Ozzy, it is a miracle that he lived to 76.
That's what we were talking about during the break.
He's a lot like Keith Richards, to where they like pretty much mainlined hardcore drugs for like so long that it's just a miracle that he lived to 76.
I was thinking
his like inner organs of just had to be all like shriveled
I didn't
up.
realize when I heard the news today, I didn't realize he had been living. Because I hadn't heard from him in a while, so I didn't realize that. So 76, yeah.
76.
In a way, it was kind of weird because he just had his like farewell concert.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago in like, I think it was in London or somewhere in England.
He's like, enough's enough. I'm done.
It reminded me, and Jim might understand this, of the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
When the Ultimate Warrior came on after, I think it was WrestleMania, and he kind of, after he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he kind of gave this cryptic speech about death and life, and then he literally died like a day or two later after giving this speech. And there's some people that were they're speculating that Ozzy was hoping that he was gonna go out on stage and everything like that, and it's just kind of weird that less than like 2 weeks after his farewell concert then he finally passes.
Yeah, it's I know if you want to go listen to his music, and they're playing it all day on Rock 105.3 and 101.5 KGB, so go check that out there. All right, moving along here.
I can't wait for this segue.
I know it's a
Pop-Tarts.
I can't.
That's why you usually do the death one last.
Yeah, I know, but
it was. Tell me that.
I wanted to talk about Ozzy first.
Where are you going here?
Where am I going?
South Park.
South Park. It kind of fits a little bit.
Fine. Yeah, it's fine. You're fine.
Paramount has reached a streaming rights deal with the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, for a 5-year, $1.5 billion streaming deal.
So that means they get the streaming rights for 5 years, or they're making new content over 5 years? They get to air the South Parks for 5 years on Paramount for $1.5 billion, or they're making new shows?
They're making new shows. Like on Comedy Central, there's a new, like I saw the other day.
Season starts tomorrow.
An ad for new South Park season.
What are we, 30 years in?
We're a good amount.
The thing you have to remember with South Park compared to like The Simpsons is every season is less and less episodes.
Yeah, 6, 8.
But, 20 years ago, their season would be, 12 to 18 episodes. Now we're lucky if we get 6 episodes in a season, and they'll split it up to where we'll be like 4, then we got to wait a month.
How is it worth that? That's amazing.
My guess is it's obviously all the episodes will be funneled into Paramount.
Well, see, that's the other tricky thing. And they got in this last time when they signed multiple streaming deals with multiple companies. That was like part of their one like movie they made for Plus, because they still have a deal with Max.
Yeah.
Because like all the backlogged episodes are all on HBO Max. But if you want the new episodes, they're going to be on Plus, Comedy Central, and Max. So it's really confusing.
Moving along here, Pepsi
okay
has announced a new Coca-Cola that will help be gut friendly.
Pepsi is not.
Oh, sorry,
a new Coca-Cola.
I sorry.
That is big news then.
Pepsi announced a new cola.
Okay.
That's what it was, not Coca-Cola. My brain just said Coca-Cola. Pepsi announces a new cola to help with gut-friendly fiber,
like probiotic or something.
Yeah,
that's smart.
It's a probiotic cola. A soft drink, it says that it will have the same classic crisp, refreshing taste as Pepsi with the added functional ingredients of 3 grams of fiber.
That's very smart, in my opinion.
The new cola boasts 30 calories, no artificial sweeteners, and 5 grams of cane sugar.
I'm into that.
From
Seriously.
from the iconic blue can, the consumer preferred Pepsi Zero Sugar. They are adapting a new cola to help with your gut.
But you know what that is? That's going up against these companies like Poppy. You know what I'm talking about? Those sodas, the Poppies. They're like low sugar, low calorie, health benefit sodas. That's definitely a portion of the market now.
Yeah, the announcement of Pepsi's new cola came on the same day that Coca-Cola confirmed plans to release cane sugar versions of their classic drink.
Oh, I didn't realize they were doing that.
Yeah.
Isn't health benefit soda kind of an oxymoron?
Kind of,
it's 100%
like,
of oxymoron.
I agree with that, but
I'd be like,
like
if on Monday Jim was like, crumble cookies come out with a healthy cookie.
No, but like bubbles in your, just like almost like, I don't know, like bubble water, seltzer water, carbonation. Thank you.
Carbonation water.
That alone, I don't think is bad for you, is it?
No, but it'll make you burp a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
All right, there you go.
What a back page.
Ozzy Osbourne, South Park, and Pepsi.
Yes. All right. That was
help
good.
with your gut.
We are going to have a wrap-up show tonight for Padres fans. Now, if things don't change, it might not be the most thrilling show.
It will be a very boring wrap-up show. I can tell you that.
It's 3-1 Marlins.
Man, come on.
This offense has only scored 3 runs in the first 2 games.
It just further proving why this team needs to go out and add bats.
Babe Ruth.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they just dig up Babe Ruth. It's fine.
They might need more.
They need to go out and add bats.
Right. They might need
plural
more than Luis Robert.
And it's also not easy when Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jackson Merrill have forgotten how to hit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that tonight. Like, what is the depth of like Merrill's struggles right here? Yeah,
not good, John.
I mean, he had the 2 home run game, which will make it look better in his last like 7 or 10 or 15. But it doesn't seem like it's going well. And again, Tatis will walk, but
I'll leave with this little nugget on the way out. Jackson Merrill's last 30 games, John, he's hitting 185 with a 291 on base and a 287 slug.
Wow. Where's second half Merrill? Last year we saw him.
Well, I've jinxed him to hell.
You really have.
I was like, he's not having a sophomore slump. It's fine.
Is it too late? Is it too late to bury that card?
Yeah, maybe. I tried. I think I did bury it. Still can't hit. All right. Join us tonight for the wrap-up show. Kevin Acee tomorrow from South Florida. We react to the entire series. It'll be over by the time we're on the air at 2 p.m. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.